I'm serious. Get off a chest. I don't want stress, but I can't help it thinking if I lose the rest. And I can't help it, I don't want stress, but I can't help it, yeah. No. Rockin' bamboo, bustin' with you, yeah. I don't know if I want to talk it to you. I told her about the ratchets for me. Skeletons out the closet for me. Hey, I don't know if I want to expose this to you. I don't know if I want to caress you. I don't know what I want to do with you, girl. I don't know what I want to do with you.
It's that ghetto pistol hope nigga on your damn street. Pussy nigga usually pop a trigger if the hand speed. Lackluster, I'ma smack suckers this year. I'ma make 100,000 racks off of this year. Do the math, 100 million for the slow ones in the class. Type of bags I be getting be too big to pay a cat. Send it wide, send it fast, for I might just change my mind. Nowadays $1 million barely worth a nigga time. I ain't saying I'm a rich nigga that's in the shit. One of them. Barely check my account, nigga, I'm admitting it. Don't give a fuck. Fuck around with my bread, bet you I'ma find out. You, nigga. Couple niggas out there that know what I'm talking about. Nigga, don't play with me. I got a wife, I got a baby to feed. I got a mama to spoil, I got a brother, got a few legal fees. I got a daddy and shit, medical bills, credit to fix, people to pay, labor to run. You play with your life if you play with my
Got
phone,
me
nigga.
stressed. I don't want to rest. Smoke cigarettes. Get off a chest. I don't want stress, but I can't help it thinking if I lose the rest. And I can't help it, I don't want stress, but I can't help it, yeah.
You just set up, I mean.
Sweats, roll, jets, toe, text, no flex, bad bitches.
We're
no
running a little late tonight behind schedule.
Deck, bro,
It's like thunderstorming outside, man.
Papa, square,
While out here, man, Memorial Weekend.
witness,
People are down, you know what I mean?
nickels.
You listen to Super Blaze, let's go.
You know what it is, man? It's the Autonomous Party podcast show for the campaign, BSB.
Got me stressed,
Super Blaze with the campaign mix.
I don't want to rest.
Shout out to the God of Green.
Smoke cigarettes.
Back at the What Up.
Get off a chest.
Big Chig, Music in the Lounge.
Stress, but I can't help
Shout out
it.
to DJ Smoothie. What up, mama?
Rest, and I can't help it, I don't want stress.
Nah, we ain't for the stress.
Can't help it, yeah. No. Rockin' bamboo, bustin' with you, yeah.
What can we say, man? They say these lit right now.
Yeah. I told her about the
Rain or no rain, you know what I mean? They're gonna get it in.
It's out the closet for me, hey. I don't know if I want to expose this to you.
From the Palm Beaches to
I caress you.
the Keys, man. I'm telling you,
What I want to do with you, girl.
people out here.
I want to do with
Well,
you.
it's that ghetto pistol hope nigga on your damn street. Pussy nigga usually pop a trigger if the hand speed. Lackluster, I'ma smack suckers this year. I'ma make 100,000 racks off of this year. Do the math, 100 million for the slow ones in the class. Type of bags I be getting be too big to pay a cat. Send it wide, send it fast, for I might just change my mind. Nowadays $1 million barely worth a nigga time. I ain't saying I'm a rich nigga that's in the shit. One of them. Barely check my account, nigga, I'm admitting it. Don't give a fuck. Fuck around with my bread, bet you I'ma find out. You, nigga. Couple niggas out there that know what I'm talking about. Nigga, don't play with me. I got a wife, I got a baby to feed. I got a mama to spoil, I got a brother, got a few legal fees. I got a daddy and shit, medical bills, credit to fix, people to pay, labor to run. You play with your life if you play with my phone,
Got me
nigga.
stressed. I don't want to rest. Smoke cigarettes. Get off a chest. I don't want stress, but I can't help it thinking if I lose the rest. And I can't help it, I don't want stress, but I can't help it, yeah. No.
Sweats, roll, jets, toe, text, no flex, bad bitches, no, let's on deck, bro, next pill, Papa, square, nickels, bear, witness, blunt, drifters, fuck, nickels.
I've been stressing cause I still ain't by my dad house. I've been stressing cause my girl said we can't work it out. I know some people that start sinning as soon as church get out. And I don't think like I used to think, cause I'm older now. When you broke, you doing more for less. You ain't finding no success. Sad to say my girl just left, and I really love her to death. Told her I can't call her my ex, cause I feel like we ain't finished yet. I just text her phone and I said, are you out your feelings yet? And my brother, he just called, he need that lawyer money. They said he did it, but I know he didn't. But you need OJ money when you trying to get acquitted. This shit is sick, man. Nobody listen when you in prison. I was hanging on the corner with some Jordans on, no designer. Serving up that white girl, back then we called her Fine China. I was looking for a bad bitch, but I didn't know where to find her. All this pressure and this stress made me a diamond. Just trying to show love, some people never grow up. Sometimes I wish I could trust, but that's how feelings get crushed. I used to ride on the train, I used to ride on the bus. They wanna hang together, but no, they not want to fly.
What can I say, man? YSL, you know, shit like that, music like that. I got y'all niggas in the problems I got right now, they claim, you know what I mean? Man, shout out to YSL, man. I don't want to see, you know what I mean, nothing happen to our brothers out here, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out to y'all, man. Hope everything pan out for y'all for real. But, you know what I mean? It's the music, they say, that's getting these brothers caught up, you know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see what other evidence they got in court, man. You know what it is, man. Super Blaze inside the campaign mix. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Subscribe, like, share as you pull up. You know what it is. Let's go.
Yeah, you got my life, rolling the dice. My name got a price, but talk to me nice. I got my money right.
Yeah, you listen to Super Blaze.
You know they criticize, but it's alright. I won't be victimized. Judging the police, taking my people's lives. I'm just signing checks and doing what's best for mine. And I gotta do too much, cause we're gonna recognize. It's written on your face, like you better than me. I can't get caught up with you bitches. I'm keeping it peak. Gotta get peak. Millennium was the dying breed. Louis on me. I'm Armstrong and you too skinny and scrawny. You don't tell lies and can fuck what you want. I turn you up and you ain't gonna never be lonely. On the Rolls Royce, on me, on the cat, cause 100X. You saw a lot of cow, they want their money back. I tore across the mile, thank God I made it back. I never asked for help, nobody gave me that. We bout to ban all that cow, we only stating facts. I let them know how I feel, check out my latest track, and I always stay on track.
I'm killing by my brother, and I know that you see. My new house didn't come with a key. Gotta type it and see. Fuck your whole game, we smoke the boss. We ain't smoking no leaf. We shop online in vintage store. Got $1,000 tees. We pass the bitch right when we done. She ain't my wife, how could I see her with my son? Racking Rick Owens, got the ones that say cunt. All I do is sit and count racks. Up by the bunch, took her out and paid for lunch. Rich off of Pyrex. You can twirl your arm right to left and get a Corvette. 5 or 6 M the law Ferrari, I don't know where to start it. I told my teacher I'm gonna buy my watch cause I was tarded. I started screaming out the answers before it started. Added that bitch to my ransom, then with the hardest. My homie died, I want answers, so we gon' spark it. We taking over like cancer and going the hardest.
The game of my life, rolling the dice. My name got a price, so talk to me nice. I got money right. And now they criticize, but it's alright. I won't be victimized. Judging the police, taking my people's lives. I'm just signing checks and doing what's best for mine. And ain't gotta do too much, cause we're gonna recognize.
Yeah, you listening to Super Blaze. Let's go.
I wish that keeping it real really was contagious. I wish that keeping it real really was contagious. Cause I be showing love, always make me face it. But that's what's in my heart, I can never change it. I just wish that things were reciprocated. I told my lawyer change the situation. Told the judge that I was always faking. But I know it's in my heart and I feel it baking. Till the Lego on my boys, that would be amazing. Trying to blink out every time I'm hitting the different spaces. Bought that same little Ferrari and told them keep it basic. Put up on them same little boys, told them to get the racing. She don't even know what it is, I bought my mom the wagon. Yeah, keep on dodging years, my young nigga wagging. I done gave away my Porsche, I throw up. I don't pass the torch, I pour. Syrup when I'm forced, I whore. Out and then I wreck a core. I took my finger and I remade the sore. I wish that keeping it real really was contagious. Cause I be showing love, always make me face you. But that's what's in my heart, I can never change it. I just wish that these were reciprocated. They always told me I'll be going places. Now I'm just surrounded by these different faces. But all of this applause, yeah, it come with hatred. I wish that keeping it real really was contagious. Yeah. Yesterday my daughter told me, Daddy, you the best. I told her I'm making it back that night. Baby, pass me that best. I know I'm living a fast life, but I sign niggas and I sign checks. I put $250,000 on my fingers just like little baby and they all baguettes. Every week I made 4,000 serving bags for my big homie. I know I went on it forever, but it had moved me up from blown. And sometimes you gotta take baby steps, but now you grown and gotta want it. Everything you doing, wanna know every who you screwing. I bought like heart and joy. I tried to keep my mouth over, but I told them all the story. I had 5 bitches with me in there, they like Robert Hood. I told my bitch every struggling day buying the store. I wish that keeping it real really was contagious. Cause I be showing love, always make me face you. But that was in my heart, I can never change it. I just wish that these were reciprocated. They always told me I'll be going places. Now I'm just surrounded by these different faces. But all of this applause, yeah, it come with hatred. I wish that keeping it real really was contagious.
Push P. Yeah, push P. Turn me up.
Yeah, you listening to Super
Turn me up,
Blaze.
P. Pointers in the paddock in my piece. I'm pushing P.
Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace.
Got a spot across the spot. Just for peace.
Drop the data, now we plotting. Excited peas. She not a lesbian for peace. She turned lesbian. Push P.
I'm pushing P. On capital P, I write the president, count presidents.
Push P.
Portuguese on her knees, mopping down a P. She let me squeeze and she leave, cause she keep a P.
Privacy, bitch, I'm pushing P.
Purple paint, pussy pink, bitch, I'm pushing P.
Push P.
I'm pushing P.
Push P.
I'm pushing P.
Yeah.
Push P. Push P. Push P. Yeah. Push P. Turn me up. Turn me up, GD. Yeah. Push P. Turn me up. Turn me up, P. Pointers in the paddock in my piece. I'm pushing P.
Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace.
Got a spot across the spot. Just for peace.
Drop the data, now we plotting. Excited peas. She not a lesbian for peace. She turned lesbian. Push P.
I'm pushing P. On capital P, I write the president, count presidents.
Push P.
Portuguese on her knees, mopping down a P. She let me squeeze and she leave, cause she keep a P.
Privacy, bitch, I'm pushing P.
Purple paint, pussy pink, bitch, I'm pushing P.
Push P.
I'm pushing P.
Push P.
I'm pushing P.
Yeah. Push P.
I'm pushing P.
Push P.
I'm pushing P.
Yeah.
I pop a P. I'm paranoid. I can't sleep with pockets deep. Got rest on me. Why they watching me? I'm pushing P. I'm pushing P.
Push P.
I'm pushing P.
Yeah.
Touch it, bunch of P and okay, bought a P, not a pill of Porsche.
Push P.
3 P's, popcorn, Porsche.
Push P.
I just fucked a cup of water. I did. Push a P, red bandana, Cardinals. I'ma P you at your whole endorsement. Yeah. She ain't vanilla for me, she simply porcelain. I never saw ops, now we finally touched it. She ready to get in the streets for me, no question. Too rich to text, I let my shoulder forward it. Take the P at the alphabets, nigga try to sort it. I'm pushing P.
I'm pushing P.
I'm pushing P.
Push P.
I'm pushing P. P.
Push P.
I'm pushing P.
Push P.
I'm pushing P.
Cash out, big bitch from the west side. Cash down,
Yeah, you listening to Super Blaze.
Mayhem.
pill to a shoulder. Yeah, my miss double taught me how to pepper hustle. I go and hear the lick, you can go and ask Bubba. Big block, total real choppers. Whole lot of shit you don't know. RP Jumbo, top me in the block. They tryna pay this lawyer for my love. It's gonna be a cold case. Magic City, I'm the owner. Tell hard on. One thing I never seen was a bitch to leave. Every time I crank the car on you a key. Short, far, well, two glizzy, extended clips. On guard, they being sober. Pour a lot of dope in my soda. Magic City, I'm the owner. Tell Steve Harvey on. Wanna
Sixes, rhyme, taking, bomb, sipping, down very high.
big, rhyme, really, I'm done. Made it bitches wait in line. I done came out the muddy. I done put the most white diamonds on the blackest hoes. I'm just turning up for my city. I'm just turning up for my city. I'm just turning up for my city.
I've been turning up for my city. Right, my daddy, mama, sister, I've been through so much lately. Running up the stairs, them next to me on the max. CMG, that's who I sass, but I like my pockets full. I got my game from the streets, I barely went to school. No nada, slow down, child. Both times, I don't really like to squash shit. On my daddy, on my mama.
Mama, K-Son at it again.
Tell them laugh now. Heard they jumped up out the whip, he got ran down. Why you ain't tell him before the beat, you were fanned out. Everybody was instigating, look how it panned out. Heard when they caught him with it panned down. I'm dropping bags on all these bitches, I'm trying to pull up and get them. Everybody with it till somebody hit, I thought that was how you were living. I been hearing all this shit, they ain't born these niggas. They smell like a go in this car, send the nigga ass to the law. We talking they gangsta shit till somebody ass get white. Way before this rap shit, ass to beat it, I been piping. Rhyme with all these guns, still ain't stopping in no light. I made that bitch fuck on that bitch, and them bitches with no dice. If they say it's smoke, we pull up, put that shit right out. Nigga, I was selling dope, I don't give a fuck about no route. Body after body, tell your partner dig them up. Should've thought about that rap shit before you start dissing us. I was chilling in the hood, really get my paper up. Have you ever counted money till you got a paper cut? Eye bloodshot red, bitches thinking I'm a devil. I ain't gon' never change, still down for whatever. Tell them laugh now. Heard they jumped up out the whip, he got ran down. Why you ain't tell him before the beat, you were fanned out. Everybody was instigating, look how it panned out. Heard when they caught him with it panned down. I'm dropping bags on all these bitches, I'm trying to pull up and get them. Everybody with it till somebody hit, I thought that was how you were living. I been hearing all this shit, they ain't born these niggas. They smell like a go in this car, send the nigga ass to the law. Man, I love this gangsta shit, I gotta keep a gangsta bitch. Everywhere I go, I'm strapped, I gotta keep a banger with me. Only hanging with the slimes, gotta watch out who I'm hanging with. I'm too hood and ashy just to be all on this famous shit. Pull up to your hood store, hop out like we'll paint this bitch. Everybody mad, make them matter, I start taking shit. Make a nigga dummy block, serve him in a faking bitch. Front door, back door, you know where I'm going with it. We ain't going for nothing. Out of town play, he want him 100. I got a couple bundles, it's gonna be a cold summer. I'm a real trapper, show you how to make it flip. Dissing on them tracks, that's what got your partner killed. Tell them laugh now. Heard they jumped up out the whip, he got ran down. Why you ain't tell him before the beat, you were fanned out. Everybody was instigating, look how it panned out. Heard when they caught him with it panned out.
Yeah, you listening to Super Plays, let's go.
Yeah, both of them bass and Diddy. Yeah, shaking the ass and titties. No, I'm not needing to pass the cities. I'm the blind with Mo. He got some shit she playing in the well. TT went got some brand new help. I know I had to find hoes mad at me, but you can't turn a bitch up without baby. Now I got him like she wanna live with her bestie and turn up. Wanna live with her bestie and turn up. Some of them got that ass and all of them pretty.
Got the bag and all some ditty. She told me she hit me, I come to the city. I'm trying to go shopping, I'm biting her with me. My cup of the perp, she fuck with the Henny. Party, I'm spinning the bottle with bitch. Freaking, I'm fucking with all of these women. I'm tweaking, I'm giving them all of them in. She wanna take her pic on the iPhone, can't get in it, I never once hit it. You know how these people be thinking. We can say that it's friends, they gon' say that we fuck around. At the loft it up before I lay it down. down. Uber eat, I'm too high, gotta break it down. We gon' smoke out the pot, gotta break it down. I wake up and get dressed, then I run it up. And I brought her up, bitch, you won't come to here. Don't tell me no when I'm motherfucking talking to her. Fuck around, I get mad and I bet you up. Took her right from my ex and my bitch, had to snatch her. Had to look at the calendar. 20 M's a nigga, I think I ain't rich enough. 2 M's in real estate, gotta buy me some more, I be building my list. Late night with the baddest bitch, they all can get it 100% if I'm feeling her.
Yeah, both of them bad to Diddy. Yeah, shaking her ass and titties. No, I'm not needing to pass for cities. I'm in the view to blammer with Monique. Got some shit she playing in the well. TTJ went got some brand new help. I know I had to find hoes mad at me, but you can't turn a bitch up without baby. Now I got them like. I like them nasty, bougie, ratchet, yeah, nasty. Bitch better won't talk. I know she ain't fucking, I ain't even finna ask. I ain't fuck that. Got me sitting in the car, all this goddamn ice on hitting in the dark. Big pretty ass whip don't make no sense. Gotta have somebody hop out to put the bitch apart. Damn, I can't lie, I be doing too much. You caught me in the room, you a fuck. Keep it real, don't you lie to me, baby, be real. It's only if I'm in the mood. Shit, I feel a little extra today. I think one of them be born, so I'ma need 2 bitches on me and that stick. Got both hoes licking on me and this lick. Going, baby, like, yeah, both of them bads to deal. Bitch, shaking her ass and titties. No, I'm not needing to pass for cities. I'm in the view to blammer with Monique. Got some shit she playing in the well. TTJ went got some brand new help. I know I had to find hoes mad at me, but you can't turn a bitch out, baby. Now I got them like. Yeah, both of them bad to Diddy. Yeah, shaking her ass and titties. No, I'm not needing to pass for cities. I'm in the view to blammer with Monique. Got some shit she playing in the well. TTJ went got some brand new help. I know I had to find hoes mad at me, but you can't turn a bitch up without baby. Now I got them like she wanna link with her bestie and turn up. Wanna link with her bestie and turn up. Some got that ass and all of them pretty.
Got the bag and all Sadiddy. She told me she hit me, I come to the city. I'm trying to go shopping, I'm biking her with me. My cup of that perp, she fuck with the Henny. Party, I'm spinning the bottle with bitch. Freaking, I'm fucking with all of these women. I'm tweaking, I'm giving them all of them Xanny. She wanna take her a pic on the iPhone, can't get in it, I never once hit it. You know how these people be thinking. We can stay to this friend, they gon' say that we fuck around. At the love it up before I lay it down. Uber eat, I'm too high, gotta break it down. We gon' smoke out the pot, gotta break it down. I wake up and get dressed, then I run it up. And I brought her up, bitch, you won't come to here. Don't tell me no when I'm motherfucking talking to her. Fuck around, I get mad and I bet you up. Took her right from my ex and my bitch, had to snatch her. Had to look at the calendar. 20 M's a nigga, I think I ain't rich enough. 2 M's in real estate, gotta buy me some more, I be building my list. Late night with the baddest bitch, they all can get it 100% if I'm feeling her.
Yeah, both of them bad to Diddy. Yeah, shaking her ass and titties. No, I'm not needing to pass for cities. I'm in the view to blammer with Monique. Got some shit she playing in the well. TTJ went got some brand new help. I know I had to find hoes mad at me, but you can't turn a bitch up without baby. Now I got them like. I like them nasty, bougie, ratchet, yeah, nasty. Bitch better won't talk. I know she ain't fucking, I ain't even finna ask. I ain't fuck that. Got me sitting in the car, all this goddamn ice on hitting in the dark. Big pretty ass whip don't make no sense. Gotta have somebody hop out to put the bitch apart. Damn, I can't lie, I be doing too much. You caught me in the room, you a fuck. Keep it real, don't you lie to me, baby, be real. It's only if I'm in the mood. Shit, I feel a little extra today. I think one of them be born, so I'ma need 2 bitches on me and that stick. Got both hoes licking on me and this lick. Going, baby, like, yeah.
I'ma just take the conversation we was having and put it in rap form. I got my chains on too. Look, they ask who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas? Aubrey Graham, Jermaine Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Weezy F, Eminem, or Tupac Shakur. Well, I think it's about time that I make a mention of boy. I ain't even dropped an album, I still ain't been on a tour. I ain't got no platinum records and I ain't won no awards. You know, you fight uphill battles while pushing the culture forward, and the shit they neglect you for make the legends respect you more. See, now the game is based off narratives and comparisons. Anything could be true if you get enough people sharing it. How could the facts be faced when this shit is opinion based? Anyone can enter the race with a mic and an interface. Yeah, that's why I think I'm the GOAT. I got the glow and the greatest flow. I inspired niggas to push more than dope. I gave them hope. Just because you rap like you woke don't mean you dope. You preaching to the choir about some shit we already know, man. Niggas wrote. We ain't trying to hear all them Malcolm quotes. But if that's what floats your boat, don't let me sink your ship. It's hard enough to catch a wave while trying to anchor this shit. I'ma just take the conversation we was having and put it in rap form. I got my chains on too. Look, they ask who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas? Aubrey Graham, Jermaine Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Weezy F, Eminem, or Tupac Shakur. Well, I think it's about time that I make a mention of boy. I ain't even dropped an album, I still ain't been on a tour. I ain't got no platinum record and I ain't won no awards. You know, you fight uphill battles while pushing the culture forward, and the shit they neglect you for make the legends respect you more. See, now the game is based off narratives and comparisons. Anything could be true if you get enough people sharing it. How could the facts be faked when this shit is opinion based? Anyone can enter the race with a mic and an interface. Yeah, that's why I think I'm the GOAT. I got the glow and the greatest flow. I inspired niggas to push more than dope. I gave them hope. Just because you rap like you woke don't mean you dope. You preaching to the choir about some shit we already know, man. Niggas wrote. We ain't trying to hear all them Malcolm quotes. But if that's what floats your boat, don't let me sink your ship. It's hard enough to catch a wave while trying to anchor this shit. Man, so what makes a nigga the GOAT? Besides the world relating to everything that he wrote, you gotta keep a loaf while keeping culture afloat. And not just musically, I'm talking all inclusively. Endorsements, fashion, movie roles, the acting, to be a GOAT. You gotta be great outside your passion. And you can't act the of all time if it ain't classic. Most of this shit be passive. Just a bunch of fucking captions. I guess I'm asking, how could a nigga be the greatest of all time? If LeBron never got to face MJ in his prime, or Montana never got to take the field first time, Mike Tyson never got to see Ali in his day, how could Floyd be the GOAT if he ain't see Sugar Ray? Imagine Rakim 808s, or NBA YoungBoy doing a song with Max. That's why I feel like we should just end all of these debates, because everybody's a GOAT, because everyone made a way. This hip-hop shit made a way for us to be great. We no longer pushing weight, but we still fighting for fame. That's why we all the GOAT. If you old and you dope, my nigga, you the GOAT. If you ain't dying your ghetto, my nigga, you the GOAT. You made it out the streets, my nigga, you the GOAT. You bought your mama house, my nigga, you the GOAT. You post bail for the bros, my nigga, you the GOAT. Fire! Take care of your kids, my nigga, you the GOAT. Ain't nobody the GOAT, because we all the GOAT.
Yeah. Can't talk.
Yeah, you listen to Super Blaze.
Can't talk.
DJ Super Blaze.
Can't talk for this shit. You know, this shit don't feel as good as it look. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm straight though. The street shit made me what I am today. Niggas know I went so hard for this shit. I deserve this shit, niggas. What you coming, nigga? This ain't my story about rags to riches, more about how I mastered physics. In the game, I used to train like Rocky, catching chickens. I was nice, but they was right when they told me that rapper business. I had 10 bands in my stash when I passed over $500,000. Come easy, no good. Don't be surprised I'll last these niggas. It's like they put out a smash, then they gone in a flash and minute. And then they make tracks and distance like that's gonna add up the digits. They showing fake racks and pictures like that's gonna attract the bitches. That was really me, nigga. I ain't have to act and conflicted. Only difference is I'm living, and I would've whacked one of them niggas who knew that after drug dealing I still be casual, spending $1 plus annual income. So here's my manual, then some. And this east side shit still in me. My ability to turn words to imagery, probably the reason they gon' remember me. Figure we walk this tightrope with a feline's agility. The streets did so much shit to me I could never live civilly. I could never leave a scene without checking my mirrors visually. Come with that energy, cause some shit gon' always stick with me. They wanna know what I brought to Griselda. I say validity. They asking what work that niggas put in. I'm like, what didn't we? Problems, then I correct through the obstacles I progress. Illogical for them to feel they responsible for our success. Besides Kanye West, tell me who else I gotta respect. Cause I'm kinda perplexed. It's about time that I got my respect. It's the butcher, nigga. Let's go.
Yeah, about time that I got my respect. It's the butcher, nigga.
DJ Super Blaze.
Whole fucking world. Griselda shit, you know what I mean? You know what it is, nigga. When I show up, I'm on 10, nigga, not 9. On the night I was born, the rain was pouring, God was crying, lightning struck, power outage, sparks was flying, the real one's here, the young boy that walked with lions around the outlines of chalk where the corpse is lying. Of course I'm trying to revive a sport that's dying, but the guns and the drug bars that y'all relying, got these nerves thinking that you niggas hard as iron, but that just mean I ain't as comfortable as y'all with lying, stretching the truth, no I never stress in the booth, they feel the pressure, me I feel like I just left them a effortless, how I'm skating on these records is proof. I put your favorite rapper neck in a noose, never letting them loose. Cold world, the heat of blast to your speaker. He the last of Mohicans, no weakness last in my sneakers. Nigga want me on the song, he gon' see the wrath of the reaper. I'm probably gon' go to hell if Jesus asks for a feature. I'm higher than niggas and don't need a bag full of reefer. Some see the glass is empty, I see a glass full of ether. Collecting his bread and mass like he a Catholic preacher. Just to count a nigga cash, you might need a calculus teacher. Eureka, Einstein on the brink of the theory of relativity. Really, no MC equal. Feel me, co-pimp be lethal. Crip like the old MTV show. On God, the best rapper alive, headshot. Now go and ask the best rappers that died. They tell you he never lied, nigga.
Yeah, you listen to
Tenor talk.
It's strictly for the streets.
You feel me? I'm saying though, I come from Oakland, straight up land of the motherfucking rock, city of the dope. Shout out to my Memphis niggas, taking the shit to Kentucky back down to Miami. I'm saying though, like, I'm blessed by the real niggas. I come from Big E, I fuck with Lil D, Big Jump Bless, Cripple CEO. Hey, B's coming home too, you feel me?
Still ballin' in the lockout. Switches on them Yeezys, you did me soon as I hop out. I made niggas turn into gamers, they ain't won't pop out. I know one just had to taste it once he knew it was a knockout. Rapping being one of my talents, shit I never thought about. I was sliding with Lil Dead, trying to hit our man soon as he walked out since he passed. I'm missing my bad, so I've been living fast. I was buying bodies way before I bought a bitch of ass. Do the plug bad, run off soon as I run on my tab. A made nigga. I sent 10 hits in 2020, I'm a grave filler. Real cocaine flipper, hang hitter. Hopefully the junkie don't say this shit tastes different. Made $1 million in the pandemic. I took a picture on Gotti's page with it. 5,500 red zone gang number is.
Man, you play too much.
5,500 red zone gang member.
I say a nigga only mad because I'm realer than him. I said I'm realer than him. I say a nigga only mad because I'm richer than him. I said I'm richer than him. Get up in your bag. Hop up out your feelings, nigga. Get up in your bag. Hop up out your feelings, nigga. Get some motherfucking money.
I got money on your head like 40 autos on the whip. Never using cut, so nigga keep me out the mix. Hermos in the watch, a double lost him on the bricks. Thought he was a problem, but you know I got it fixed. 10 mans, call him 10 man. Cause all it takes is 10 mans for the hit man. I'm so rich, $250 million in this documented. I hope you're not offended, cause I'm about my business. I got 1,000 bitches. My money number one, fuck how you others feel. I do this for my sons, fuck how they mothers feel. Drop by in broad day, I'm trying to parlay. I got on all my jewels, we in the dark days. Fuck niggas dropping dead, chopper with copper head. I give her shopping bread, she give me sloppy head. You know she in my DM, praying she get to see him. I let her roll the smoke and count up all the real.
What you wanna ride through? Back on what side, y'all side, talking about front, look back, what you wanna ride through? Feet down, round four, round long. Back on what side, y'all side, talking about.
Yeah, you listen to the Super Blaze.
Back on what side, y'all side, talking about front, look back, what you wanna ride through? Feet down, round four, round long. Ain't finna talk about stepping, bro, I'ma keep it smooth. Hey, that's the same feeling when Stella got back her groove. Pulled it, quit playing, cause stepping, bro, that's all you do. Hey, where you staring? We swing it, then you gotta move. You want them to do it or me, better pick and choose. They got me madder than the bitch, yeah, they done blew a fuse. I'm finna make that boy famous and put him on the news. Cause if my life up on the line, then I can't fucking lose. She like to suck me when I drive through the coupe and cruise. I had to swerve to the side cause I'm gonna hit the dude. Like, hit the curve and I had left a bruise. Get back around and she proceed to eat me like some food. Like, it's good. She taste it, she swallow. Kids, she ate my babies. No, I can't stop her. She going crazy. They say it's murder. Oh no, maybe. My destination ain't too far. I hit another corner. I jump out on the block, it smell like marijuana. When them crackers bend the curve, they get to stand on them. Cause if he jump, I grab a reefer and flush all the zona. But let me get back to myself and talk about this drill. Juice still in my cup, but let's not talk about the shit I spill. It's 40 paying rent, cause every day it stay up on my hill. I do them nasty, flip them like gymnastics, 30 in this clip. Best believe me, if I up and shooting off the rip. Hustle in my blood, you'll think that I'm some kin of nip. Flew in from the old, now we in Cali, had to take a trip. Get straight to business, just like Frito-Lay, drop it off, then I dip. Like, It's good. She taste it. She swallow. Kids. She ate my babies. No, I can't stop her. She going crazy. They say it's murder. I don't know. Maybe. You know them pipes come seal, you connect. No tap. Hey, they don't like what they respect. Yeah, take A for breakfast. I look at them bitch. Nigga with a dick on it. Rat bitch, watch me pick on it. Big homie. Yeah, nothing less than a brick on me. Young nigga, but I love fucking with the ladies. 4 pockets full, all these bitches want a baby. Dropped out of school, I was too much in the money. Shoes never lace, bitch, you never see me running. Lift that ass up, yeah. Bitch, I drop it. Yeah. Why I'm in the hood, probably cause I'm copy. Hell got a hard track, it don't matter, I got options. Fucking from the back, she love sucking dick sloppy. Straight to the mirrors, I was never in the robbing at all. My niggas get the party started without the DJ. Say what? We on some gang shit, these niggas know how we play. Come on, she know Laputa run the game, this not EA. Come on, record a second dick just to keep it on replay. Don't do it for the ground. I feel like she the cool, but she got a twin sister, they bad as fuck. I'm like, which one to choose? No matter how ever we do it, no longer right. I cannot lose, say I'm living life, fucking on sight. When she see it, bitch, I got it off the muscle. You wanna fight on tussle.
Yeah, you listen to this play. Let's go.
I see the pussy boy ain't learn his lesson. Ain't no location, but I'm gonna dress it. Cause how I feel, it's time to go to steppin'. Like go to state this for that holy Stephen. This shit here gon' get messy. You rappers be so lame, but they won't fame from the media. Put it out my name, go check me out, Wikipedia. No LOLs explain itself a lot, I defeated you. I got it off the muscle, who the fuck said I needed you? I made a name for myself, pussy boy, I don't need you. You breathe how I breathe, and you bleed how I bleed too. I roll up like a delta, we smoke just like we do. Eastside shade skin, no python, but I squeeze. I say them niggas do their thing, but they don't do it like we do. No ratatouille, we got the recipe to get cheese too. Like how the fuck you supposed to lead the streets when they feed you? You gon' feel how you feel, but don't let that mislead you. And it's bitch, I got bitch, I got it off the muscle. You wanna fight on tussle? You wanna fight on tussle? Bitch, I got it off the muscle. 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 You wanna fight on tussle?
Yeah, you listen to this super play. Let's
I see the pussy boy ain't learn his lesson. Ain't no location, but I'm gonna dress it. Cause how I feel, it's time to go to steppin'. Like go to state this for that holy Stephen. This shit here gon' get messy. You rappers be so lame, but they won't fame from the media. Put it out my name, go check me out, Wikipedia. No LOLs explain itself a lot, I defeated you. I got it off the muscle, who the fuck said I needed you? I made a name for myself, pussy boy, I don't need you. You breathe how I breathe, and you bleed how I bleed too. I roll up like a delta, we gon' smoke just like we do. Eastside shade skin, no python, but I squeeze. I say them niggas do their thing, but they don't do it like we do. No ratatouille, we got the recipe to get cheese too. Like how the fuck you supposed to lead the streets when they feed you? You gon' feel how you feel, but don't let that mislead you. In the street, my nigga chopping trees, cause they so scared to leave. Keep staying all in my cup, cause I be sipping lean. He only talk when he on monkeys, so make him pop a bean. Niggas always reaching for some clout, but that shit so green. I'ma make sure that they hit me through these headphones. You niggas speaking on each other, dog, y'all dead wrong. But let a nigga speak on Mark, then his head gone. I'ma set his ass up with my little red bone. My little bitch in Jacksonville scoping our air home. Sticks and stones when we slide, breaking air bone. Make these niggas multiply, cause his man gone. My nigga told me fuck that bitch and bring the bread home. Hey look, man, however you niggas wanna got no rap, nigga wanna take it, nigga. We no rap for none of you niggas. It don't matter, however y'all wanna do it, social media ass niggas, anything, nigga. Fuck niggas ain't living like that. Don't start letting no shit. Y'all know how I'm coming, nigga. Like cold, got me fucked up. I'm GC on get cheese the movie, nigga. I still wanna talk that shit. Fuck nigga, can't smell me. Talk to me out. Man, fuck that. I ain't gonna even rap no more, nigga. You niggas get the message. You niggas know what the fuck I'm trying to say. Just don't at me as shit, nigga. Don't at me on none on the ground, nigga. None on any kind of social media, nigga. Straight up, nigga. Whatever I see at it, it's gonna be that, nigga. I'm gone.
Yeah, you listen to super play. Let's go. Yeah, you listen to super play. Let's go.
This shit specially sent out all my niggas from Florida.
Where we at?
Yeah, I'm talking North Miami, Pompano, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa.
That's right. All of that.
Hey, Kodak, you gonna be proud of this flow right here. Watch this. Hey, check. I swear for God, I'm only stepping for my own film. I'm praying when I see my enemy, this shit don't jam. Been saying inside of quarantine, that's why I don't see him. I'm a Lambo drop, they know it's me soon as them hoes see him. I'm swinging about that hot car, look like I'm Puerto Rican. From out of the dot, we rock stars and plus we holding pieces. You wasn't finna let me get that pussy, why you wanna tease me? You on your period at 5 a.m., then why you wanna see me? I'm putting my foot down on these holding, now they talking easy. Getting ready to dip all on these chickens, look like Polynesian. My flow west side, my bitch chest side. Got kept me from the left side, cause that's my best side. Got fire! This shit special. All my niggas from Florida. Yeah, I'm talking North Miami, Pompano, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa. All y'all niggas up there, I see you. Hey, Kodak, you gonna be proud of this flow right here. Watch this. Check. I swear for God, I'm only stepping for my own film. I'm praying when I see my enemy, this shit don't jam. Been saying inside of quarantine, that's why I don't see him. I'm a Lambo drop, they know it's me soon as them hoes see him. I'm swinging about that hot car, look like I'm Puerto Rican. From out of the dot, we rock stars and plus we holding pieces. You wasn't finna let me get that pussy, why you wanna tease me? You on your period at 5 a.m., then why you wanna see me? I'm putting my foot down on these holding, now they talking easy. Getting ready to dip all on these chickens, look like Polynesian. My flow west side, my bitch chest side. Got kept me from the left side, cause that's my best side. Got hop in the ride this dick, cause ain't no time to test drive. She ain't the shit for your side, but she get fucked this side. $20,000 in bottles, my tendency tall. Lied to him, said it was runs, but I sold him July. I know that bitch be calling me daddy, but that bitch ain't my daughter. Jay ain't whipping up in that caddy, cause that Lambo star. I done shot dice, but Larry Bird in Barcelona. 30,000, tell her bitch to call her home. Hey, riding Prada, I'm looking like Godfather. Hey, spoil a little bit, you think that bitch my goddaughter. Yeah, we moving this house all the way out in Texas. Niggas hating, I click up with the Mexicans. Telling you, I'm a little more famous, bitch, I ain't a pedestrian. Yeah, I'm a little too faded, I might fuck your best friend. Whoa, I'm talking on Zaza, I'm with the rah-rah. Fucking these bitches to make it up top, I hope she Chicago. Want me to take you out to dinner, baby? Nah. Giving no fuck, I take the baddest little bitch to Popeyes. I got the European yellow just to match the fauna. Hoes on my floor dancing like it's Carabana. She think she poppin' cause he eat a pussy, bitch, not I. Yeah, I promise around here, shawty, you just not I. A lot of these fire! This shit special, this shit dog. All my niggas from Florida. Hey.
Nah, Tori got one right there on this one for real.
All my niggas from Florida.
Got that Florida bop to it for real. You know what I'm talking?
Hey. Yeah, I'm talking North Miami, Pompano, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa. All y'all niggas up there, I see you. Hey, Kodak, you gonna be proud of this flow right here. Watch this. Hey, check. I swear for God, I'm only stepping for my own film. I'm praying when I see my enemy, this shit don't jam. Been saying inside of quarantine, that's why I don't see him. I'm a Lambo drop, they know it's me soon as them hoes see him. I'm swinging about that hot car, look like I'm Puerto Rican. From out of the dot, we rock stars and plus we holding pieces. You wasn't finna let me get that pussy, why you wanna tease me? You on your period at 5 a.m., then why you wanna see me? I'm putting my foot down on these holding, now they talking easy. Getting ready to dip all on these chickens, look like Polynesian. My flow west side, my bitch chest side. Got kept me from the left side, cause that's my best side. Got hop in the ride this dick, cause ain't no time to test drive. She ain't the shit for your side, but she get fucked this side. $20,000 in bottles, my tendency tall. Lied to him, said it was runs, but I sold him July. I know that bitch be calling me daddy, but that bitch ain't my daughter. Jay ain't whipping up in that caddy, cause that Lambo star. I done shot dice, but Larry Bird in Barcelona. 30,000, tell her bitch to call her home. Hey, riding Prada, I'm looking like Godfather. Hey, spoil a little bit, you think that bitch my goddaughter. Yeah, we moving this house all the way out in Texas. Niggas hating, I click up with the Mexicans. Telling you, I'm a little more famous, bitch, I ain't a pedestrian. Yeah, I'm a little too faded, I might fuck your best friend. Whoa, I'm talking on Zaza, I'm with the rah-rah. Fucking these bitches to make it up top, I hope she Chicago. Want me to take you out to dinner, baby? Nah. Giving no fuck, I take the baddest little bitch to Popeyes. I got the European yellow just to match the fauna. Hoes on my floor dancing like it's Carabana. She think she poppin' cause he eat a pussy, bitch, not I. Yeah, I promise around here, shawty, you just not I. A lot of these pussy niggas gon' tell you they love you, but they leeches. You say you love me and you my partner, why I ain't on no feature? I'm doing this shit for the Florida justice, out here doing my pieces. She running to slip into that bank, bitch, I feel like Regis. Okay, I'm popping Prada, I'm dropping dollars. I'm popping the bitch, then popping collar. I got the holler, I'm fucking the bitch from Guatemala. With all the doggers, I stepping the bitch, I ain't a baller. I'm baller. Okay, now it ain't no getting back out the beat. Fuck niggas try to trick me out the streets. If I ever caught the plea and I was trying to keep a player, just know I'ma kill your ass later, boy. Back in these hoes, you know they got it so filthy. She hopping up on my dick, she tryna ride it and milk it. She like how the inside of my room
still going, boy.
I like how the inside of that pussy fell when I peeled it. She dropped down, got an eagle on and I killed it. My auntie
that's our pop shit for real. All eyes on me.
I dropped the phantom, I'm mixing the lean and Tropicana. Like I'm a hammer, and I'm a gangster on the scene, but not on camera. That fuck nigga be doing me green, so I'm a flammer. Sorry, nigga, hey. When you
fuck your bitch.
Tap in. It's your boy, Mac 8th. It's storming outside today. It's a rainy Memorial Day weekend. We used to that down here in Florida. You know how it is. So, I got that BSB rain jacket ready for the, what I'm saying, for anything and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get here, flooded or not. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going to front. These boys right now, it is Game 7, down here in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, bro. You already know what it is. Everybody watching the game tonight, you already know what it is. So it's not looking good right now either. You know what I'm saying? We got to do something. We got to do something. You know what I mean? We want to work it out somehow or another. You know what I mean? But anyway, thank y'all for tapping in with us tonight. We here live, being the campaign mix, Music Media Lounge. You know what I'm saying? I'm your guest tonight. Ain't no guest with us tonight. We just gonna vibe, go through some things. It's still Mayhem. Just let y'all know we told y'all we had one more Mayhem. Maroon, we're gone. See what I'm saying? So we gonna vibe, tap back in with us in a minute. Go get a little comfortable so we can get here and get in. Play. Party, you already know what it is.
Tell me gon' die every day. Swear we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we. Swear we gon' die every day. Swear we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came.
We been here, lived here, open borders, got deported, fought for rights. Kidnapped, bitch slapped, blacked out, covered up, washed white. Drugged up, slugged up, beat bread, left for dead, fuck your life. It's all a plan, kill your man, take your land, slave your kids, rape your wife. Why y'all look so mad if all this shit I say is true? Why y'all look so mad if all this shit happened to you? White man quick to tell you was a slave, nothing before. But he himself only been free since 1840. Don't record it. I'm an ancient Egyptian from Atlantis, headed straight for Canada, that's Israel. Nothing fake about me, no capping rapping. I just fed the ink and I'm digital. No caveman, I'm original. Kentucky fried, extra Christian. Wear a lot of gold cause my family history. I'm the guy to know I bring death to history.
Swear we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Swear we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came.
Power, only respect power. Respect power. What's been said can't be said no louder. Stand for something, or you die a coward. They bombed our churches, set our kids on fire. Police keep erasing cause they backed up by the nation. Nation ain't complaining cause them Indians still hanging. Comanche, Sioux, Apache, ain't no history in blackness. No reason for that chatting if you bitch up when it's action. AR on my body, tell the bro to grab the shot and loading up that new edition. Finna hit him with this bobby. I can't shoot the shit, but 30 shouldn't miss. 54 races, 104 is click. Anytime we prison, they don't want the shit. They don't want the problems. Snitches get the stick. Talking all that hatred, end up running like a bitch. Quick to call the laws, quick to play the bitch.
Swear we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Swear we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. We don't know where we came.
Yeah, you listening to Super Plays. Let's go.
I pop the pain away, I slide the pain away. I pop the pain away, I slide the pain away.
Yeah, you listening to Super Plays.
hope I'm not too late to set my demons straight. I know I made you wait. How much can you take? I hope you see the God in me. I hope you can see. And if it's up, stay down for me. Yeah.
Sherry, cocoa bar, Serafina, flaming eyes. Where I'd be without your love. That's your ways and trust. I feel you deep. I feel deep. I feel deep. I feel deep.
Do you love me? Do you trust me? Can I trust you? Don't judge me. I'm a die-hard. It gets ugly. Too passionate. It gets ugly. I wonder where I lost my way. Been waiting on your call all day. Tell me you in my corner right now. When I fall short, I'm leaning on you to cry out. We all got enough to lie about. My truth too complicated to hide now. Can I open up? Is it safe or not? I'm afraid a little you relate or not. Have faith a little. I might take my time. Ain't no saving face this time.
I hope I'm not too late to set my demons straight. I know I made you wait. How much can you take? I hope you see the God in me. I hope you can see. And if it's up, stay down for me. Yeah.
Sherry, cocoa bar, Serafina, flaming eyes. Where I'd be without your love. That's your ways and trust. I feel you deep. I feel deep. I feel deep. I feel deep.
I got some regrets, but my past won't keep me from my best. Subtle mistake felt like life or death. I wanna see the family stronger. I wanna see the money longer. You know that I'd die for you. I get emotional about life. The lost ones keeping me up at night. The world be reminding me it's danger. I still risk it all for a stranger. If I told you who I am, would you use it against me? Right or wrong, no stone, just love to send me.
I hope I'm not too late to set my demons straight. I know I made you wait. How much can you take? I hope you see the God in me. I hope you can see. And if it's up, stay down for me. Yeah. Baby, you make me pray for London. Yeah, as if I want it all without you involved. I guess it's all for nothing. How you beat it, yeah. Not the only one up in my phone, yeah. I'll be up late chatting in the back and straight macking with all these other people. I'm sorry, especially around 2 or 3 or 4. Especially around 2 or 3 or 4. You be asking for around 2 or 3 or 4. Baby, I don't know what to do for me, for more. You're not the only woman in my phone. I'll be up late chatting, interacting with all bad bitches and these other people. Yeah, listening to some playlist. Driving. Fire! Wait a minute. This girl started off so tender, so sweet. But now she got me smoking out the window.
Must have spent 35, 45,000 up to the knees. Oh no! Got of badass kids running around my whole crib like it's Chuck E. Cheese. Whoa, whoa. Put me in the jam with an X-Man in the UFC. Can't believe it. I'm in disbelief.
This bitch got me paying her rent, paying for trips, diamonds on her neck, diamonds on her wrist, and here I am all alone, all alone. I'm so cold, I'm so cold, you got me out here. Smoking out the window, smoking out the window, singing, how could she do this to me? How could she do this to me? Oh, I thought that girl belonged to only me. Just the other night, she was gripping on me tight, screaming Hercules. Got me in the club looking for a new love, somewhere help me please. Baby, why you doing this? Why you doing this to me, girl? Not to be dramatic, but I wanna die. This zip got me paying her rent, paying for trips, diamonds on her neck, diamonds on her wrist. Here I am all alone, all alone. I'm so cold, you got me out here. Smoking out the window of the Benzo. Singing, how could you do this to me? How could you do this? Oh, I know that girl belonged to one thing to do, one thing to do. I was wrong. She belongs to everybody. Yes, she belongs to everybody. She belongs to everybody. Oh, no. Look here, baby, I hope you find whatever it is that you need. But I also hope that your trifling ass is walking around barefoot in these streets. Look at girl, it breaks my heart that you ain't right here with me. Now I gotta give you back to the city. Oh, you got me smoking out the window. Singing, how could you do this to me? How could you do this to me? Oh, I know that girl.
Tap in, tap in. We live. You already know what it is. Thriller Campaign. We're here to do our damn thing. You feel me? The Autonomous Party. This is the podcast. Make sure you already know what it is. This is the Ethnogenesis of an Aboriginal American, part 11. And it's Maroon Mayhem at the same damn time. You know what I mean? It's Memorial Day weekend at the same damn time. You feel me? So we gonna tap in on some things because the Celtics playing right now. So you know it's crazy because this week there's a couple things that hit me in the head. You know what I'm saying? Because you know I've heard words before. I like to go into words and go into the depthness of words. Sometimes words pass us by. We don't, you know, understand how they relate to us and certain things, or how much impact they have by not really going in and looking up what this word really relates to. You know what I mean? And it's been always the question of how America got its name, right? You know, people ask the question, how did America get its name? Did it come from a tribe of people called Americans in South America, Amaracapana, right? People talk about Amerigo Vespucci, right? You know what I'm saying? I even heard some Welsh conversations in the past of people like Modoc and them and the Micmacs and the Mandans and stuff like that, how that name came about. Matter of fact, that one right there, though, is the one that slipped past me. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? I should have put a bigger eye on it. You did. I really don't think don't slip past me like that, but I'm being honest. So, you know, tonight the Celtics are playing. You know what I mean? And I got to put a little juju right now on them because I do want the Heat to win. But I did say to y'all, and I did say this, you know, shout out to Monte. I did say that it wasn't looking good for the Heat. Jimmy Butler last game, game 6, was so serious. You know what I mean? 47 points. The man did that. He carried them to this game 7. Can he get them to the finals is the question, I said, because some other people going to have to show up. You know what I'm saying? Because they surely weren't going to let him do 47 points back to back. You know what I'm saying? So we got to think about strategies and stuff like that. But see, I got a strategy tonight for this for this show before we go into the mayhem part of it. You see me? Dealing with the Maroons. You see, I got my Maroon wig on earlier. Shout out to Maroons out there, the American Maroons out there. The ones in the islands, ones in South North America, however, wherever you might be. Let me slide on me. Get me that first joint, man. Let me show everybody this interesting word. See that word? It says Amorica. See this word right here kind of threw me for the loop. You know what I'm saying? This week we was having a conversation, and I'm actually the one that said, "Hold up, wait a minute." Shout out to Clubhouse. You know what I mean? It was a Wi-Fi Wednesdays, even though we didn't do a live room, we still were having conversation from early. So we just let that room ride out, right? We having this dude came in the room, and he dropped something. You know what I mean? I don't be putting people's name out there. They don't want their name out there like that. But he said something that triggered me because he said something about his genealogy dealing with Brittany. See, I'm rhyming right now, and how that whole situation linked up. And I was like, "Well, you got people from over there?" And he was like, "Yeah, they swapped it." You know, because I guess maybe Lee Cummins. You know, we just had Lee Cummins on. You know what I'm saying? He was going hard in the paint last week. Feel me? So I get it. So I'm like, okay. So now, boom. It's where the Amorica I thought of. I said, yo, Amorica. Now you see it at the top before I go into the body of the work. It says European kingdoms. And then it says Celts of Amorica. See, these Celtics is playing tonight against, with my hometown team, the Miami Heat. For all my Haitians out here, like I said, it's a little juju. Because they should be exposed for not giving this frame of work to our people dealing with this Celtic group of people that, you know what I'm saying, they got teams and everything named after them. And we ain't getting no real definiteness of history of who these individuals could definitely, So we're going to go into the word Amorica. Armorica. It says the Roman name for the peninsula of land that protrudes from modern France into Atlantic Ocean was Amorica, now far better known as Brittany. Amorica was Latinized form of Celtic. See, there's who playing tonight, right? The Celtics word or name Amario. See, I'm gonna spell it how because my pronunciations, right? Aremorio. So Amario. However, the Romans, can you make that a little bit bigger for me? These words kind of like starting to look real. Yeah, thank you, sir. Right there. That's great. There you go. Shout out to God of Green. See on the boards. Because, boy, let me tell you, he's going to make me get glasses dealing with this stuff. I got good eyes. You know what I mean? I think I have to eat carrots for this and that. You feel me? But they starting to wear them as age comes down. You heard? So the Romans had already coined the name Gaul to describe the Celtic tribes of what is now central, northern, and eastern France. The Gauls were divided from the Belgae to the north by the Marne, Mrne, and the Sine. But the Belgic tribes had followed the English Channel coastline to occupy and settle areas of Armorica, too, probably in the 5th century BC. Armorio means R, at or before or next, plus more. See, there's that more word, MOR/MARE, means sea or ocean. In other words, it means next to the sea, or perhaps more colonially, beside the sea. The name was clearly in use to describe the entire region of Brittany by the 5th century AD, when migrants from Britain began to take over, but it is less clear when it began to be used as such an umbrella term. Just slide down for me a little bit. Let me get a little bit out of this one here. We'll give a little, little information here. This is Amorica one more time. Provided a home to quite a bundle of Celtic tribes, all of which were in place by the 1st century BC. These included the powerful Veneti tribe, which dominated the other tribes, and also the Mbelati, the Biocasis, this is my best pronunciations now, excuse me, the Diabolinetes, the Lex O.V., the Menapi, that's how I'm saying it, Moroni, Namiti, Netes, Asami, Red Ones. See, that's Red One. That was the easiest one out of all of them. Once defeated by Rome after the season of extremely hard campaigning, elements of the defeated tribes under the leadership of the Veneti may have fled to Britain and Ireland, where they formed two tribes of Venetians. One in what became the Pickland, for those who know about them Picts out there, and the other in the county of Donegal, as in the Veneti, where both were attested to Ptolemy by AD 140. Julius Caesar's own claim to have killed or enslaved all the Veneti was clearly self-serving propaganda aimed at his Roman how should I? So I'm getting tongue-tied. Consistency. See, I had to slow myself down. See, families with the access to boats would have gone to sea at night and sailed to Britain or Ireland to escape him, both of which were outside the Roman control. Families unable to escape the sea would have fled inland and into the highland forest of Armorica. From hiding there, they're able to emerge once the legions had departed and were able to re-inhabit their Venetis. So yeah, that right there is that's really how that worked out. That word in Celtic part kind of connected, so you know what I'm saying, that's really what it is. So let me get the other, just that word Celtic, and these Celtic people were in a land that we would know as Armorica, and that word Armorica, dealing with Brittany today, would be where the Britons went, you know what I'm saying, and all that good stuff. So before Brittany, today Britain or the Britons, and that name became applied to that region, it was Armorica. Interesting enough, the Welsh, Wales, France, Gaul, all of them areas were considered Armorica. So yeah, we got Armorica again. Now we went and digged it up a little bit this week. After that, I ain't gonna front. I was complex. I had to go look into some more things. I mean, what these Celtics doing? They need to be exposed. Maybe there'll be some juju to help the Heat get back on the road here to this Game 7 game here. Armorica, a name anciently given to the northwest coast of Gaul. That's France. From the Loire to the Sini, it's the same word we use in the other one, as it had considerable fleet and carried a large. Can you bring that up to you, scroll? Can you make that larger for me too? You can make it smaller so it can fit in the screen. Don't typewriter style. There we go. Thank you. Right there. It's good. All right. So Armorica, anciently given the northwest coast of Gaul, from Loire to the Sini, had a considerable fleet and carried on a large intercourse with the Britain. Maximus, a Roman officer, having revolted. It's really Maximus. See, they messed up. Right? His name is Maximus. But anyways, a Roman officer having revolted with the legions of Britain against the Emperor Gratian, AD 388. Passed into Gaul with 2 Roman legions and a number of Aboriginal Britons. You see how they use that word Aboriginal? They're using the word Aboriginal. So that's why that needs to be thought of. See, now understanding what they're saying these people were indigenous Britons. You remember Malcolm X said, right? Everybody is Aboriginal. And we all dark-skinned people are all Aboriginal, no matter where we go and where we might be located at, because of the fact that the dark-skinned people are the Aboriginal people everywhere you go. All right, I just want to make sure that click for all my people out there listening. So either way, among whom was one Conan Mardiac, to whom Maximus gave the government of Armorica. Mardiac obtained a recognition of his independence from the Emperor Theodosius in the 5th century. Thousands of British Celts, see that's Celts again, these Celtics, see, British and the Celts got a tie. Don't get them confused. Put them together. Came over, rather than remain under the hated Saxon yoke. See them Saxons? They didn't want to be with the Saxons. They found in Armorica a hospital reception, and a dynasty akin to them in race. The descendants of Conan Murdoch successfully repelled the Danish, Norwegian, the Irish pirates from the coast of America, and also on the land side. The various German tribes who invaded and ravaged Gaul during the 5th and 6th centuries, it was the most peaceful and prosperous part of that country. The Christian religion was early propagated there. Bishop of Dole, Kumper, and the Vanes, and recorded in the end of the 4th century, in the Annals of America, preserved the long roll of Celtic saints whose names are not known elsewhere. From the influx of the Britons, America, from about 6th century, began to be called Brittany. So they let you know, going to the 6th century, that's when you get this word Brittany for that particular area, just like how France, from my dig, because I obviously can't go through all the sources. This has popped up, and I felt because of Game 7, and the Celtics were playing, and we was going to be live tonight, and the Celtics name is all in this document that I'm coming across. I had to pull it up, and I had to use this word. I mean, we are in the ethnogenesis of the Aboriginal American, and this word American can't obviously be traced back to this word America, going off of where some people are stating that this word actually is coming from. There's a debate out there now for that. You know what I mean? Let you know, as many sources, I ain't make this word up. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to go look it up for yourself. The word, how we spelled it, Armorica on your own time, if you're interested type thing. You feel me? They gave you the source to look it up. That's the encyclopedia, right? The source we're on now is the encyclopedia. ChesterBooks.com. All right. ChesterBooks.com. So yeah, we finding things, we dig up things. It's a buried treasure. It's a chest. I got a chest at the crib with some books, and don't try me. At the end of the day, this whole thing, when you come across these words and how they play out, right? You know what I mean? We got to be on some points to understand. And I'm being biased. The Celtics are playing right now. You know what I'm saying? The Heat are down, and I needed to put something in the air to put some relevance in the understanding that, these Celtics should be exposed for their American roots. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people think of the Celtics and don't think of a dark-skinned person, an Aboriginal person. You feel me? They surely do not think of that. But see, right here, that document is surely just pointed out exactly that. So when we had Lee Cummins on our show last week, and we was talking about these dark-skinned people that are obviously from areas of Britain, Ireland, Scotland, right? Wales, right? Germany, right? That whole area, France, you know what I'm saying? And these are all the areas. Spain, by the way. I think I got one more. Do I got one more for the America joint? I didn't see you. Let me see you one more. Let me show you one more. Let me see this other one real quick. Hold on. I'm tripping. Give me a second, y'all. I got to throw this last one in there. Hold on. This one right here, they're gonna go to the Iberian connection of showing you that these people, southern Portugal, Spain, would be considered America too at one time, going from between 5th and 8th century. You know what I'm saying? This is the time frame where this word, these kingdoms of America, and their tribes and nations of people fighting amongst each other, dealing with the Roman rule as well. You know what I'm saying? This is all laid out in this word. I'm trying to tell you, it's interesting. Hold on, I'm sliding with this one right here real quick. Before we go into this mayhem part of this conversation tonight. You did. I swear to you, it threw me for a loop. It literally threw me for a loop this week. I was like, hold on, I got to keep digging on this right here. This word is getting interesting. You know what I mean? I got this book, matter of fact, while he pulls that up, called the Carolina Genesis. This is the Ethnogenesis. So I felt like books like this with Genesis on it could relate to a fact that in the Carolinas, in their Genesis, the Ethnogenesis process of time where they went through with the intermingling admixtures and everything with the Aboriginal people from over here that came into contact with people who would be foreign to this land, and we also labeled Europeans, but also over in their land will be descended from Aboriginal people as well from that area, meaning they're indigenous to that area. They're the dark-skinned people from that area. So when we get to, but when they get here, they're foreign because they're not from here. See what I'm saying? So we don't want to confuse that either. You know what I mean? Don't get me twisted. You know what I mean? Don't get me twisted. Mm-mm. But clearly you heard what I read, and it's called them Aboriginal Britons. You said, the Basque would be considered like Aboriginal. See them Celtics again, Celtics legacy in Galicia. I think it's on page 4. Can you go to page 4 on this joint? There it is. Page 4, right? You want to it. Stop right there. Excuse me. This is a major feature of articulation of the Galician Celtic identity is its comparative element. The attempt to locate Galicia as an integral part of the Atlantic Edge world and to identify archaeological, historical, cultural, mythological, folkloric, and other similarities with the other Celtic lands. In fact, as described below, social and commercial relations between the populations of Northwest Iberia and those of Armorica, modern-day Brittany, Cornwall, Wales, the Isles of Man, Scotland, and Ireland date back to prehistoric times. Those ancient connections continued during the Bronze Age, when these geographic regions were components of what scholars call the Atlantic area, a well-defined social, cultural, and commercial zone which lasted for at least 3 millenniums. That's all I wanted to give them really out that joint. I just wanted to make sure they see there's a connection to the whole region. And there's Armorica. You see me? You know what's crazy though? When it said the Isles of Man part, right? Throw a little law part in this little. The Black Law Dictionary that a lot of people know about, obviously people say the 4th edition is probably the best one, right? Because they took things out of it when you get into the later editions. But the 4th edition does have the word more in it. And we always have guests on here that subscribe to that. And we obviously disagree with some Moors that subscribe to saying that everybody's a Moor, right? So at the end of the day, interesting enough, in the Black Law Dictionary, the word Moor comes out to say that it's a bailiff or a sheriff in some cases. If you don't understand, it's synonymous, same thing. That's for the bays out there, right? Bailiff, bay, sheriff, position, title. And the title that they hold, particularly in this Black Law Dictionary, says from the Isles of Man. See what I'm saying? In the Isles of Man. So in the Isles of Man, in the time frame and when, based off of the word Moor, also being a title of nobility at the same time, holding a rank like a bey, a sheriff, soldier, you know what I mean, a rank in the army, rank in court, rank in nobility, however the case might be, it'd be a similar term being used at a certain time before it became a descriptory term for people, for instance, that were aboriginal to the land of Armorica. You know what I'm saying? Also by the Romans calling the people that are in North Africa or that region, Algiers, Tunisia, Morocco, and other, Tripoli, you know what I'm saying? That area also one time was called Mauritania. And the Mari, meaning the dark-skinned people from that region, all being aboriginal to that region, dealing with, how they got the Romans called the Maris. You know what I'm saying? But then they also knew that the stock of people were closely related to the same people who are in Southern Europe and the area we call them Armorica, especially these Celtics. And these Celtics nights are giving us a hard time. So I had to throw that out there. They had to get, this is that night. This is perfect landing. I ain't gonna front. But it is what it is. In the Carolina Genesis, this book I have here, before we pull up, going to this Mayhem thing, I found dealing with this word Armorica. You know what I mean? Armorica, right? I'm trying to find the page real quick. Give me 1 second. We have I want to get to the exact one. I've had this book for about 11 years. And I've had to go back into this book over the 11 years, almost every other year, to be like, hold up, I read something now that's interesting. Because I'm finding it, I'm going back to this book, and I'm finding words, and I'm looking at correlations. And they're like, man, don't get caught up in homophones and stuff like that. See, I pronounce words bad, but at the same time, I be knowing what I be saying. Amor Garcon. And Amor Garcon, and the story they talk about with these people in the Carolina Genesis, we're dealing with Amor Gari or Amakari, Amor or Amma, Spanish denotes beloved, probably derived from the Sephardic Amora, and the Gari, or Gael, denotes people in Muskegon language. So they're talking, in this Carolina Genesis, they're talking about an actual a miscegnation, which is an intermixture, intermarriage, mixing two different people. You know what I mean? Later on, they call it the mulatto situation, right? Two different nations of people coming together, and now you are in an ethnogenesis of a new breed, hybrid of those two groups of people, right? Especially when it's more than just a specific situation where just one man and one woman. No, they're talking about it's more, it's plural. It's a plural mixed segnation taking place. At this time, so there's a lot of words in here that kind of related to when I just came across that word, Amorica. And then you got this, Amora. I got the Amora, but Amorica, again, how they got it spelled, Armorica. And then you have the Amora, Amora. Now, I don't know if y'all know who these Sephardic Amora are. We do some research on it, because again, I'm on Maroon Mayhem. But this is right here showing the Genesis, Ethnogenesis, because Carolina had its Ethnogenesis right here in the Americas of mixtures of people that were in this area that later on became called free people of color because of the system. Don't blame it on us, blame it on the system. At the end of the day, we're going to keep it 100 with that. You know what I'm saying? Because the system's really the thing that has made all the confusion complete with the outside labels that's been given to you and your genealogy and the nations of people within your bloodline. You know what I mean? And we're so commercialized now, and we're so socially in society's ways of being labeled that we forgot to self-identify. With so much history and heritage connected to your bloodlines, it's best to self-identify in an ethnogenesis way. One other thing I want to state, that this week a brother came amongst us and he said ethnohistory. I was like, wow. He was like, D-Mac, have you heard of that word? I'm like, yeah. I'm doing a series called Ethnogenesis of an Aboriginal American right now. Of course, you can't have the ethnohistory without the ethnogenesis. Because after the genesis, like this book series is going to go into, then you can understand the ethnohistory of those group of people that mixed and then went into the next situation. You see me? So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put Blaze in the mix. We're going to come right back and get into this mayhem. You know what I mean? Because right there, we just vibing tonight. I'm still watching this game. The Heat trying to make the closest. We're down by 8. I hope this worked. We did. Tap in with us. We right back.
Yeah, you listening to Super Blaze. Let's go.
Just because it's in print doesn't mean it's the gospel. People write negative things because they feel that's what sells. Good news to them doesn't sell.
How it impacted you?
My album's number one all over the world. All over the world. America's the only one because I don't want to say too much.
But it's not number one in the United States.
It's conspiracy, yeah. I will never stop accompanying and loving people the way Jesus said to. He said, continue to love. Always love. Bring on the children. Imitate the children. Not childish, but childlike.
The return of the Blackmores with no fans. It's eerie like that documentary on Lisa Lopez. Pentagrams, pyramids, conspiracies with go-heads. Knock down the levees, knock down the projects. Start another project, build another object. A drive-through touchscreen doctrine for me to digest. Just horses without blinders on, driving by the obvious. Riding by the obvious, flying by the obvious. Regardless who you vote for, if the mind don't grow and the poverty line don't go, but the dope keep coming and the TV keep flashing images of a sports car, then you bound for a coke war. The meat get clowned by the coke law. The sheep get drowned in the folklore. Then lulled to sleep by Tom Brokaw. What a pity. The hope on the politician's tongue never ever trickles down to the city. Yeah. So if a nigga put a president's mask on and run up in the bank with a max saying gimme, I ain't glad at him, but I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him. Look, if anybody asks you who I be, say a painter with a felt pen who drew Ali. I'm like Cassius when I blast molasses out the ass of the masses. From Fulton Street Mall to Gratiot, I'm handing out free at last kids. Yo, Jay, where your staff at? Green said you threw it. Yeah, I outgrew it. Some blog said you blew it. Nigga, fuck your blog. Jigga Man said you can't knock the hustle, dog. I'm on the same launching pad that shot Bustle Law. That's why I stay dug. You can ask the tongue. That's why I stay dug. That's why I stay dug. Ask Tumbling Dice.
DJ Super Blaze is in the mix.
We just want to party, just for you. We just want to party, just for you. I don't want to die, just for you. We gotta dance, dance and shake the brain. We just want to party, just for you. We just want to party, just for you. I don't want to die, just for you. We gotta dance, dance and shake the brain.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Look how I'm living now. Police be tripping now. Yeah, this is America. Guns in my area. I got the strap. I gotta carry him. Yeah, I'ma go into this. Yeah, this is gorilla. Yeah, I'ma go get the bag. Yeah, or I'ma get the pad. Yeah, I'm so cold like yeah. I'm so dull like yeah. We gon' blow like yeah. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. Look how I'm geeking now. I'm so pretty. I'm on Gucci. I'm so pretty. Yeah. I'm gonna get it. Watch me move. This is Sally. That's a tool. Yeah. On my Kodak. Black. Ooh, know that. Yeah. Ooh, get it. Yeah. Ooh, work it. 100 bands. Contraband. I got the plug on who a hawker. Whoa. They gonna find you like Baka.
America.
Yeah, you listen.
I just checked my follow and listen. You motherfuckers owe me. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, you
good morning.
Blaze, let's go.
Bang, bang. Good morning. Good
I'm from the home of the ghosts, water plugs and wokeness, water bugs and roaches, drugs and overdoses. How you approach this Philly is where the dope is. My uncle's Reds and Willie is still the ghostness. Whole shit steady, we close knit and deadly as a heart attack. Trust me, the pit bulls is petty, already infamous, limitless, getting images, foul temperament. You start shit, we ending it. It's mad last wishes, gas mask kisses. The thin line between savants and savages. Your life could depend on the laws of averages. The difference between black and white is mad privilege for Lucifer, son of the morning, who swore we'd ignored every one of them warnings, but try to run for cover under one of them warnings. Cause here the storm come, tell the Lord time for his encore performance.
On the wake up, dreaming every day and trying to get my cake up.
I got 4 million in homes, 3 hours apart. Drug dealer taste, I think I glow in the dark. I only do features to keep hitting my mark and show you motherfuckers you ain't good as you thought. Let's go. Panamera shopping in the pandemic. The work got grill lines when the pan's searing. Give you the whole clip to let your mans hear it. Then Paul Bearer next to them so they can all fear it. Ulterior motives with the motors. Bulletproof package like I'm POTUS. I'm just cashing in on what they owe us. They say the coming winter is the coldest. Celine fur hanging off the shoulder. What's worse, the gift or the curse? The only way to celebrate a death is with a birth. That Maybach sin can be converted to a hearse. I mean every word while you think it's just a verse. I'm gone.
Hold on. Just as soon as the sun rises, the night dies, you was building pyramids in African empires. With pale-skinned savages with straight hair, light eyes, but still eating raw meat and barely can light fire. Before we ever sold cocaine, we civilized Spain. You are not the first black man in the Mediterranean. Shit you allowed to oppress you is just insane. Now look at you with the disdain of an ocean stain. How you product of a god and you worship a man? I was God in the flesh before I drove a Hussein. 5 kilos of gold sitting on my neck in the flight, surrounded by black women, West African king. And I'm gonna go to Ghana to reclaim my name. While these chump rappers rap about the shit they cop. Man, I caught my block, and this shit don't stop. I'm the official, unofficial mayor of my city. Learn my lesson from the crack trap in school of high thoughts. Push the D like Pusha T and kept my mind black thought. Michael Render is the end of what the fuck I thought. Michael Render, he the end of what the fuck I thought. God.
And I'm just convinced, you know what I mean? These fellas, how dare them challenge me with their somewhat primitive skills? They're just as good as dead.
Slam, Big Mac 11, back of the 7 on some bullshit. I put that president on wrist and I got frostbite. Stack it like Pringles, you want a single, it's gon' cost you. Slow on the hair and I don't sell them bitches too often. Man, my jewelry like some laser beams. Step out with your lady, shoot some babies on a Maybelline. Overdoses, Cholo, cut the cocoa with the ketamine. Dope and ibuprofen in my bowl, I got them recipes. Bossy, shooter like Stepper, just hit the 3 and I wasn't even looking. Your favorite rapper just hit the stage with bitch, you about to book them. Bitches in love, but just keep the pussy, I just keep it pushing. My baby mama knew the job was crooked before they took it. Can't train records, bitch, we running shit. Just touched down in the airport, Louis V backpack full of them hundreds, bitch. Clean in that queen hoe, I'm a gangster, not no lover, bitch. Grammy after party, bitch, we rock it like we won a bitch. Boss shit, Big Mac 11, back of the 7. On some bullshit. I put that president on my wrist and I got frostbite. Stack it like Pringles, you want a single, it's gon' cost you. CEO Rabbit, Young Freddy Kane, I'm on some bullshit. Big Mac 11, back of the 7 on some bullshit. I put that president on my wrist and I got frostbite. Stack it like Pringles, you want a single, it's gon' cost you. Pull up to your funeral and shoot up your fucking coffin. I blow your house up with that 100 drum. No hot 100, I'm a hot boy with some murder ones. Cash money can't big no my son and you my youngest son. See my first crackhead like that Beamer back in 91. I've been on the places, two pockets rocking the Gumby fade. Fucking up my cup with this activist ice and lemonade. Bitches big BL if you violate, you a renegade. Know the trigger fingers ain't that the type on your Twitter page. Freddy Krueger, P90 Ruger, I'm creeping on them. Niggas say they ain't losing sleep, tell them I'm sleeping on them. Got heavy traffic, the neighbors might call the people on them. Surround your car with ARs, I put the Reaper on them. Death wish, shoot them with that automatic shotty, that's a death kiss. Niggas be pulling through, so I aim up for the neck, bitch. Fly with it on me, I got my Vicky on the jet, bitch. Ready to set it off, and I put that on the set, bitch. Big Mac 11, back of the 7 on some bullshit. I put that president on my wrist, and I got frostbite. Stack it like Pringles, you want a single, it's gon' cost you. CEO Rabbit, Young Freddy Kane, I'm on some bullshit. Big Mac 11, back of the 7 on some bullshit. I put that president on my wrist, and I got frostbite. Stack it like Pringles, you want a single, it's gon' cost you. Pull up to your funeral and shoot up your fucking coffin.
Bang, bitch.
Bang, bang, bang.
Vibe with it. Please. Appreciate you for that interlude, my dude. Before we go into this mayhem tonight. You know what I mean? Maroon, mayhem. You hear? I'm going to go straight to the point, though. Because, see, in the Maroon mayhem, because it's the May, I just had to go ahead and give it to him. But the craziest part of how I'm going to tie all this into this conversation tonight is going to be dealing with Memorial Day. And Memorial Day is clearly, you know what I mean, what we're dealing with tonight. It's just like the game tonight. You know what I mean? The Celtics, right? You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go into the Memorial Day conversation here. Can you pull up my first joint with the Memorial Day? Some black folk was talking about back in that time frame. they were dealing with this Memorial Day situation. 1865. Don't overlook Memorial Day's Black Southern roots. So that's going to go into this joint right here. Black Americans were nearly erased from Memorial Day's history. We end the weekend. You know what I mean? I'm going to give it. I got to give you a little piece of this to tie this in now. Dozens of U.S. cities claim to be the first to commemorate, the lives lost during the Civil War. We're going to come down real quick. I just wanted to put that in there. This is in May. See, we in May. Maroon Mayhem, I'm trying to tell y'all. Of 1865, thousands of newly freed black Charlotte's, I should say Charlestownians, right? Charlestownians. Or Charlestonians. I should say Charlestonians. Exhumed a mass grave of dead Union soldiers, reburied their bodies, and commemorated their lives with a parade. The holiday we know as Memorial Day was first called Decoration Day. Over the years, that name changed to Dedication Day. Now we're going to come up. Please, sir, let me give me a little more out of this right here. So I want y'all to know Dedication Day. I'm dedicating that the heat pull this through. So, you know, it is what it is, though. It says it wasn't until 1960 when Memorial Day became the official name. Regardless of what you call it, the first observance of Memorial Day can be traced back to an old Charleston race course. And we know about this important history because of David Blight, an African-American studies professor at Yale University and author of Race in Reunion. So yeah, this is just to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? And you can come up a little bit more real quick. I'm just wanting to put that, Memorial Day part in here just for those that didn't know. You know what I'm saying? It says in 1990s at Harvard University on a fellowship, I was in the library and was working in a collection of Union veterans' papers that were not very organized. The library turned these boxes over to me, and in one of the boxes in a file labeled the first Decoration Day. I found this story. It was written on a large piece of cardboard, probably by an old veteran. It was recording the story or part of it from newspaper article that had appeared in the New York Tribune in May of 1865. He wrote this extraordinary tale about this parade that occurred on a horse track, a race course in Charleston, South Carolina, led by African-American former slaves in the early May 1865. And when I first read it, I really could hardly believe it. I thought this is some old veteran making up something. There's something on here that stood out particularly about this particular source. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna try to find on page. Make our life a little bit easier here. Because these Celtics tonight, see, they playing. That boy Brown, see, I'm Brown. I ain't being biased to him. Feel me? But I got to talk my shit still though, because he the ops right now. He playing for the wrong team. See, I know a couple Browns like that, by the way. Shit. Yeah, I know a couple of them. They playing for the wrong team. They playing for the wrong team. They're saying the wrong things. They make it, yes, man. Slander on the Brown name. How do people just go around saying things? But everybody got their reasons. You feel me? Let me see if I can find this real quick. I want you to go down to scroll down. Wait. I think you're almost there. Am I there? Is it right there? Okay, here we go. So boom. What exactly happened on that day? This is David. According to the press, about 10,000 people were on this old race course, led by black children and by women and men. They followed by Union soldiers singing hymns, singing John Brown's body. See, this Brown I kind of have to understand because this is the white dude Brown. See, this white dude John Brown. And he's a good guy. He's for. I don't know what's going on with the song.
Take the white brown to show out.
This man got to show out to man. Hey, listen here. But John Brown, and this the black. Yeah, you know, this is what they. Hey man, listen, it's crazy now. Him and his sons were wild. There was some wild people. You know what I'm saying? Abolitionists, Kansas, and all that good stuff. Word. You know what I mean? So when we set it up like this, it's just as they marched, commemorating the nearly 260 Union dead soldiers who had been buried in the gravesite without names. There were other eyewitnesses. Preachers preached. Then they all broke up and went back into the infield on the racetrack and did what most of us today. They held picnics. They had speeches. Children ran races, and so on and so forth. So it was their way of dedicating not only the graves of the dead, but it was also their way of declaring the meaning of the Civil War and declaring the Federal Union victory. So now, when we look at that right there, you know what I'm saying? I think your bad boy right here about to die though too. It still ain't charging. I know I'm just saying that the bad boy ain't working. So the old part go right there. You see John Brown body got pulled up. Can I get his hymn? I think I got his hymn for y'all tonight. I want y'all to kind of see the hymn. Yeah, we're done with this. I just want John Brown body. See, I want a John Brown body to be caught up in this bad boy so we can go to the hymn that they talk about on Memorial Day that these black folk were, you know what I'm saying, singing, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the Civil War and everything like that. I want to plug that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to turn off Glory. Glory? Shoot, this is going to be interesting that people hear this one right here. The words and everything real quick. I thought it was interesting that John Brown, this is it's written by Pete Seeger, John Brown's Body. You know what I'm saying? You can give him the full screen. Let me see how Pete made the album cover look. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that part. Let's listen to this real quick. Check this out.
John Brown's body lies a mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a mouldering in the grave, but his soul goes marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. But his soul goes marching on. The stars above in heaven are looking kindly down. The stars above in heaven are looking kindly down. The stars above in heaven are looking kindly down on the grave of old John Brown. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His soul goes marching on. He captured Harper's Ferry with his 19 men so true. He frightened old Virginia till she trembled through and through. They hanged him for a traitor, they themselves the traitor crew. His soul goes marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His soul goes marching on. Well, he's gone to be a soldier in the army of the Lord. He's gone to be a soldier in the army of the Lord. He's gone to be a soldier in the army of the Lord, but his soul goes marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His soul goes marching on. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the...
I mean, hey, y'all got the picture. I think y'all got the picture. I mean, yeah, Pete Seeger, John Brown's body. This is what they saying, that these women and children are marching down, dealing with Memorial Day and dedication day or decoration day, and this is what they're marching down the road, you know, singing. You know what I'm saying? This is what they say they singing. You know what I'm saying? I wanted y'all to hear it for yourself. I ain't making this up. You feel me? I don't want you thinking none of that. You know, I don't like to cap about none of this stuff. This is interesting to me too. Sometimes I'm like, that's an interesting situation right there. So now, what interesting too about John Brown, right, is John Brown took a lot of things and his ideas of abolitionists from obviously people we would call Maroons. He was studying them heavy. You know what I mean? He was radical. He was a radical white man, they say. However the case might be, John Brown knew that he had to figure something out because he was dealing with some people. See, he knew he was dealing with some indigenous folk too, right? You know what I mean? So there's another interesting term I think people have heard about. You know what I mean? Anybody out there might have heard of the 10 Little Indians, the 10 Little Indian situation. Can you put that up next year? Pull up the 10 Little Indian joint. Because it was like, Yeah, that joint. Yeah. 10 Little Indians. 10 little, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Anyways. So, 10 Little Indians, this is John Brown had a little Indian. See that? You see how they got homeboy tied into this bad boy? And this is another hymn. There's a lot of things going around this dude, John Brown, with the Indian and black people singing after him. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really good. Feel me? What's really good, John Brown? What you been doing?
John Brown had the Indians.
And he was messing with the Indians. And then it says John Brown had a little engine. It spelled it INGUN. You know what I'm saying? Let you know they knew, you know, Indian, engine, all that good stuff was involved in this conversation of John Brown and the 10 Little Indians. So if you didn't know that, I thought that was the next joint I should point out with different songs that we heard about in history, you know what I mean? And how they relate to certain people and what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, yeah, I just wanted to point that. I thought that was interesting. John Brown's connected to all these things. So I'm going to go to the next thing because John Brown's body, even though I gave you the song, I want you to know a little more. Because like I said, we're going into this Mayhem thing. I'm going to get somewhere now with this. Follow me. Follow me. While the Heat trying to hold on. I think they tried to get it close, but they made a little run on them. Them Celtics, them. I'm going to tell you, Laurie, sometimes. You amaze me, young man. So, yeah, on this joint, John Brown, the abolitionist, the man who killed slavery, sparked the Civil War, and seeded civil rights, David S. Reynolds, Ventures Books, New York, 578 pages. Now, you know, John Brown's body, you know what I mean? John Brown is probably the closest thing we have in the U.S. to a real flesh and blood hero contradiction. This is, for conservatives, his name rings with calls to bloodshed and freeing the blacks. For liberals, he is the man who put civil rights in its modern definition on a political map. And finally, for extremists of all types, the man is a real old-fashioned role model, a guy who was unwilling or unable to bend conscience to law, and his process sparked the only intentional insurrection aimed at challenging U.S. sovereignty in the Republic's history, accepting the Confederate States secession, of course. This piece is meant to provide a twofold discussion of Brown. First, as a review of the book referenced above, second, as a discussion of Brown in light of the Antichrist, political ramifications, if any, of his actions. It says Brown comes out of a pure New England heritage, born in Torrington, Connecticut on May 9th, 1800, and claiming probable correctly to be direct descendant of Peter Brown, one of the Mayflower Company. What distinguishes Brown right from the beginning, however, is being reared in a home that virtually oozes Calvinist Puritanism and the most extreme kind. And here is where things get interesting for the observer, because the general attitude and perception of modern society to Puritanism really doesn't do the religion and its core concepts justice. For it should be noted that much discussed sexual repression, supposedly rampant among the Puritans, is wholly inaccurate, though they did view humanity utterly corrupt and whose soul salvation can be obtained solely through the sacrifice of Christ. It didn't mean, however, that sexuality was prohibited. Churches that don't believe in sexual intercourse don't last long. Witness the Shakers. One Puritan tradition provides an example. Prior to marriage, it was customary for the betrothal to spend at least one night, sometimes several, sleeping together in the same bed in order to ensure the physical compatibility for their future life partners. In some instances, the groom-to-be was sewn into the sheet to make sure that nothing too outrageous should occur over the course of the night. I wonder, though, how many of those cotton cocoons were found in the intact morning, and how many were feverishly torn apart in the dark at night, perhaps a bit stained come morning. I thought that was really interesting too. Now, on this joint, I just wanted to read that part to kind of give you some backdrop to this Brown situation. I'm going to go to a particular part in this. It goes into the Quaker. Scroll up. Oh, you good? You brought me back up. Yeah, that's cool. Let the people see the screen real quick. All right, here we go. You can pull me back up. I got the area. That's what happened last time. What happened?
John Brown's body.
Yeah. It was John Brown's body. John Brown's body. You back on there? Can you search on your joint to get to a particular part? Find no page. Type in Maroon. Scoop. So in John Brown's body, he goes into a lot of information dealing with the Maroons, Mayhem. Obviously, this is where he was inspired outside of his religious beliefs, because he was raised in that way. You know what I mean? The slavery and his anti-slavery antics as an abolitionist and what he was called a leader at that time frame, going into the Civil War time frame. People say he sparked some things. You know, he did go on a tear. But at the same time, John Brown definitely got a lot of, stuff from these people, you know what I'm saying, we call the Maroons, the communities that he was influenced by and living amongst as well at certain times. So it says, Brown began research in slave revolts while they varied tactics, strategies, and geographic placement. He was really looking for was a guide to follow, a blueprint for a successful sustained insurrection. He found it in Nat Turner's 1831 revolt. Turner's initial rapid, violent strike, the liberation of many slaves as possible, and then a retreat into the wilderness from which to hide and continue further insurrections against the slave holders was studied, debated, and visually adapted into an overreaching strategy that Brown would follow at Harper's Ferry. The major difference between the two is that Brown would seek to duplicate Turner's plan, not on a handful of Virginia plantations and in fairly limited region, but across the entire South. and including the liberation of all slaves in that area. One strength of his plan was geography of the eastern states. In his business travels, Brown had become familiar with the Appalachians, extending from Maine to Georgia. In the Brown estimation, a perfect natural screen from which to strike into the South and to use as shelter when chased. Brown planned to send non-combatant freed slaves north to Canada if necessary, and the remainder would stay and fight in the mountain, freeing more and more slaves until the South would have to, of necessary, discontinue slavery. To quote Brown, Nat Turner with 50 men held Virginia for 5 weeks. 20 men in the Alleghenies could break slavery to pieces in 2 years. And what would this mobile, multiracial community look like? Striking at slaveholders and plantations, moving and running as needed. Brown's reading led him to Maroon communities as his model. Maroons, from the French maroonage, meaning flight, or perhaps the Cimarroons, meaning wild, untamed, were groups of slaves which had escaped into the wilderness, had founded communities, and defended these from intrusion by slaveholders, soldiers, and other forces of civilization using guerrilla tactics and knowledge of the terrain. As known to Brown, Maroons predated the landing of the Mayflower by a century. You hear that? This man knows that the Maroons and the communities predate the Mayflower by a century. What's a century? 100 years, right? What time did the Mayflower, they say, land? If you know off the top of your head. Let me look. Let me go on. Let's get that right. Hold on. I'm going to look it up real quick. Don't go nowhere. Don't move. I'm going to read the rest of this paragraph real quick. I want to just get this date right for the folk. You feel me? Hold on. 1620? All right. So 1620. So they say Maroon communities go back 100 years before 1620. That's 1520, right? And then we know that they say Columbus came in 1492, right? We know that the requiremento took place in 1510, which is basically, when these people came, and that's requiremento is the word they used in the Spanish, but, it's declaration where they came and told the people, you got to bow down, basically, get down with this religion, or you going to be, insurrections taking place. I think it was actually 1508 to be exact. No, it was 1510. I might pull it up later on just to be correct about that. Either way, it's just from French maroonage, meaning flight. I came down and read that part. It's just, as was known to Brown, Maroons predated the landing of the Mayflower by a century. The Spanish explorer Lucas Vasquez de Leon founded a colony in South Carolina, probably at the mouth of the PD River, included the goods brought to found the outpost where some 100 black slaves. The Spaniards relocated to Haiti shortly after founding the colony and left behind a significant population of slaves who retreated into the interior and lived with the natives. As Bay and others have pointed out, these Maroon communities composed of whites, blacks, and natives, triracial isolates, are important precursor of American dropout culture, and more is left to be written on their importance. Brown thought the tactic ideal for his planned insurrectionary communities and explicitly used examples of Maroon military successes to gain backing and finances for the coming inclusion from the anti-slavery supporters. This man was a bad boy, ain't it? Let's scroll up a little bit, because I think he almost in this paragraph. Where am I? Start right there. All right, cool. Where was I? I lost my spot. Got it. All right, supporters. These examples include Second Seminole War of of 1835 to 1841, where a small but potent force of black and Seminole warriors launched guerrilla battles all through Florida, killing 1,600 settlers and soldiers and eventually causing the U.S. government to spend $40 million to end the war. In this confrontation, the blacks were described by a correspondent as the most formidable force, more bloodthirsty, active, and revengeful than Indians. Brown had also studied the Caribbean Maroons and insurrections, especially Toussaint Louverture, a successful insurrection against both slavery and French governance of Haiti. Though eventually captured, imprisoned, and killed, his armed forces continued to struggle, and in 1804 ended both French colonization and slavery at a stroke. So, Brown, it says here, last part, I'm going to keep moving to the next source. Doesn't want to read that part. So Brown had a plan for fighting and freeing the slaves, and a military plan for maintaining and spreading insurrection, and a plan as how to the communities of freed slaves may look. All he needs is money and an army and weapons, no small task. But then Kansas began to bleed, and the opportunities for violent abolitionists like himself caused mayhem, and secure wealthy Eastern backers became plentiful. I wanted to put that in there. I had to put mayhem in there. You see me? I had to line that up. You feel me? Because he was on some mayhem. And he got his mayhem tactics and ideas from Maroons, who he knew been here a century before the Mayflower even landed. These biracial and triracial communities, basically meaning these dark-skinned folk that came over here and mixed in with those other dark-skinned folk. And then things happened. They became called communities that were never part of the original indigenous population, but were a part of the European population either. Like, that's what the communities look like. You know what I mean? When you get that mixture in place like that, and they fighting for freedom, autonomy, mayhem takes place. Especially at that time frame. See, we don't got to be that way now. We just want to be autonomous. See what I'm saying? Anybody running us down on being autonomous, you got to know how to go out and handle your business. You feel me? But now, back then, those folk, those ancestors that were in the same vein of what liberation and autonomy and freedom really looked like, you feel me? You had brothers like John Brown borrowing from them type of, you know what I'm saying, situations. So I thought that was, hey, let's go to the next one. Let's slide on to the next one, man. Because like I said, we're going to get somewhere with this whole thing. Because I always like to make sure you get it, you know what I'm saying? John Brown's Seminole Maroons and Ted Lang's historical play. So this dude, just to give you a little context real quick, this ain't going to be too long. They went into this, you know what I mean, just to let you know these people had John Brown body now. You feel me? So, this person says, congratulations to Ted Lang and his cast and crew of his new historical play entitled The Journals of Osborne P. Anderson. I have recently read A Voice from Harper's Ferry, written by Mr. Osborne P. Anderson and published in 1861. It is an incredible and spine-tingling narrative of Harper Ferry's raid, carried out by Captain John Brown and his small band of warrior abolitionists, free and escaped blacks. Mr. Ted Lang, who we all knew as and loved as Isaac in the America's #1 TV series, The Love Boat, is the writer and director and dramatization of Captain John Brown's Provisional Army of a 19-member interracial attack force production vehicle. Mr. Osborne Perry Anderson was the only black survivor. You hear that? To give some context to it, you heard? Somebody from the Love Boat was inspired to want to do a whole play on this situation, you see? And you see how he said the Seminoles, right? So they were particularly going about how the Seminoles had this influence on this whole situation too, with who they call John Brown. You feel me? So at the end of the day, these free people of color that's mixed with indigenous roots and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, it's going to go in and say, in truth, I have not seen the play. However, I am compelled to write about it because I am an African Native American activist. As a Seminole Maroon descendant whose ancestors fought for their freedom during the Civil War, I feel connected. They too were part of the interracial military force, designated as the 1st Indian Home Guard. I am direct descendant of both John Brown Band and the Jim Lane Band of the Black mixed race freedmen of Oklahoma Nation of Seminole Indians. They gave themselves these names after 1866 Indian Treaty, which confirmed their freedom, citizenship, and Indian rights. My grandfather, G/grandfather, band leader, Caesar Brunner, was in the FIGH, which is that 1st Indian Home Guard, by the way. That's what that acronym stands for. And the 1st Indian Home Guard was composed mostly of Creek, Cherokee, and Seminole Indians. Schooled up a little bit. Maroons, they call us. This mixture of Indian groups with these other things going on with it too. It says the FIG composed mostly of Creek, Cherokee, Seminole Indians. There also was a small corps of Black interpreters. Those some you see them running away Africans that we were talking about, Hessians and all them people that were with the British that mixed in with the Creek, right? They talk about, you know what I'm saying? That's what we talking about right here. See, he gonna say and unit officers were mostly white. You see this? See how you got to throw that in there, right? Many of their white officers had ridden with John Brown during the pre-Civil War years in Kansas. Some of their names were James Gilpatrick Blunt, William Anderson Phillips, John Bowles, and Richard Hosea Hinton. A fuller list of the units that they you can go. Let me see if they get a little more context. That little part of that part right here. Go. Slide up from real quick for this last part right here. No, come back down. You slid up. Keep coming down. Right there. I want to make sure I caught all that. 1st Indian Home Guard and the Kansas Colored Infantry. Now you can go down a little bit more. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget that part. It was like threw me off when you went up so fast. I'm gonna read this last part, then we're gonna go to the next one real quick. It says my direct ancestors were Osa Ignan, and I messed it up. Sergeant Colonel D. Full-Blooded Creek, Caesar Brunner, Seminole Maroon, and Pickett Retney African Creek. Both were Black interpreters. Their unit participated in at least 21 battles during the war against slavery. This and another story that needs to be told. I hope that the production of Mr. Ted Lane's play will lead to review of their underreported history. Because you know they don't tell the history of who the Maroons and what their mixtures are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you just hear us and you tell about our heritage. You hear people say they got their Maroon and Maroon heritage. They say, oh, they're African runaways. No, that's mayhem right there. No, that's not even going to be the case at all. Stop playing with us. That's not what it is. We're trying to show you this factually here. Either way, though. Let that marinate. Slide to the next one real quick, bro. Yeah, no, actually, I want this one right there. That's the next one right. Yeah, just story. No, we're on that one right now. Okay, we're on right now. That's where we're going to. That's the next one. Yeah, that's the next one. Yes, sir. That's the next one. The American Maroon joint. All right, so we down by 7 heat. All right, we're going into the 4th right now in a minute. We need a couple stops. See, I tried to put the jinx on the Celtics tonight with their American expose them of their American roots. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? So I knew you went against them, God. You heard me? But you know, I don't know what made you make that assumption. It was going to happen that way. You know what I mean? I don't know what made you make that assumption. Going against the whole team like that. Shame on you. Happy for them if they're winning. Got jokes. Win.
You know, I ain't getting no bread.
He ain't better on it though, ain't it? All right, then. So, anyways, it's additional data, just to give y'all some additional data, because it is Maroon Mayhem. You know what I'm saying? It's the month of May. And additional data on American Maroons. You know, I'm an American Maroon. I self-identify as an American Maroon. Here's some data on people from then to now. You might self-identify like myself with the roots that, you know, and we stand for certain things, dealing with the autonomy and liberation of our people, freedom, true freedom. Some years ago, a President Ryder called attention to the fact that the extension of Maroons, organized belligerent fugitive slaves, was not confined to the West Indies and South America, but was also a feminine characteristic of the American slavery. Further evidence on a particular type of reaction of the Negro to the states of the slaves in hit with President for a state of South Carolina. State of Carolina. See, I got that Genesis right here. It's going to go into these, what they might have been labeled, like terms like Maroon, right? Further evidence on this particular type of reaction of the Negro states and slaves hitherto presented in South Carolina. I read that, right? My bad. Brief note was made in the paper previously cited of the fact that South Carolina and Georgia were seriously troubled in the 1780s by Maroons, some of whom were born arms of British and Revolutionary War. A very early reference to the sources of the behavior appears in a letter written by one William Reynolds, Sr. of Charleston, dated December 12, 1783. This gentleman declared that 30 of his slaves had left his service and had followed the British General Provost Army from this state to Savannah in the state of Georgia. You slide up for me. And from there, the greatest part of those with many other Negroes followed the Creek Indians to the nation. Further, light is thrown on the Maroon disturbances themselves of the period in several manuscripts. One John J. Borkin Jr. wrote that Joaquin Hartson, a state representative from the Perrysburg on March 14, 1787, telling of serious depredation of armed fugitive slaves. It's mayhem. He's mad. He's like, oh shit. These niggas is how they getting arms? We got problems. Carolina and Georgia, we got problems. They call Georgia a buffer state for a reason because it's full of Maroons. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but settlements. Dang. That's what's going on. North Florida, Georgia, you heard me? Southern Georgia especially, you heard me? This was Alabama, you heard me? And parts of South Carolina. This is what's going on. All right. Northwest Georgia, they a little, but no, I'm talking about all over Georgia. Either way, though. I just wanted to read that part. I had to throw that in there. I just wanted to throw Georgia in the mix of the Maroon Mayhem conversation. And John Brown, you know what I'm saying? He connect. You see the Brown situation has been connected to the Maroon thing for a minute now, you know. I don't know what your John Brown situation might be, but we have a connection. You know, later they called it Free People of Color after, 1866, when they did the Proclamation of Emancipation, but it was a lot of people living in free situations, dealing with their own private situations on the territory that they were living on. You did. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? But now, furthermore, I'm going to give you just a couple more examples of this Black Indian situation. You know what I mean? And the Black Indian that they called the Negro Indians, they used to label some of these folk, some of them Maroons and different groups that were in the South, Georgia, South Carolina area, not, causing mayhem on their colonizations that's trying to come in and create states and set up counties and you know how that works. The term Black Indian is used to describe a broad range. I went over this a couple weeks ago when we had Rafi with us from Ethnogenesis of America. Shout out to him. And I brought it up because of the fact that it had this term Black Indian, and literally, they mention people that are labeled in this situation, just to give them real quick, and we're going to skip down to show you, like, boom, these are the people they're calling Black Indians. And another term they use, Maroons. Because, these days, we don't like that term Black by itself. The plain black by itself don't give no definiteness to it, and that's why we have to get a little more, critique when you do your genealogy, knowing if you have indigenous roots. Why we don't like to be just called that? You feel me? That's the situation that put us in this assimilated situation right now. That Martin Luther King said it was a burning house. You feel me? When we was outside with the Maroons, he was in the water. You see me? It was cool. But no, either way, and Martin Luther King right here, he wanted the people labeled as a black Indian in this goddamn encyclopedia joint. You see me? Frederick Douglass, Langston Hughes, Oprah Winfrey, Crispus Attucks. That's the first school I went to when I came to Florida. Both my parents graduated from Attucks High School, which is a place they call Liberia, Route 1. Before that, you feel me? And they know that was like a Maroon community. You see me? A mixture of people living in this area right outside of Seminole territory. You dig? That they labeled Liberia. But that's in Florida, Hollywood, Florida, not over there in Liberia, West Africa. Interesting enough. Now, but I'm only pointing that out because Crispus Attucks is a person who they said died, the Boston Massacre, and he's labeled a mixed person, and he's considered a black Indian. And at the end of the day, that mixture of situation he is. Go check his own, I ain't gonna give you all the combinations of everybody's shit. But Martin Luther King, because it's got that Williams, see? His mama's is a Williams. So that's why, there's some things you can tap into with that. I got Williams too. We're gonna go down. We're gonna go down. Keep going. I just want them to see that. We're going to go to the next joint. We're going to slide. Maroon communities, see? Right underneath the black Indian link. You feel me? They put them together for a reason. These are the communities that became Maroon communities. You know what I'm saying? These people that did not absorb it in the beginning of the time of these colonizations coming in, going into the time frame of 1865, 1866, that were living in land they called abandoned, that their Freedmen Bureau, which was called the Refugee and Freedmen Bureau of Abandoned Lands. Yeah, those abandoned lands and the refugees were labeled this term Maroons. You see what I'm saying? In the time frame going to this time frame, especially in the South. Feel me? And they knew it was Europeans that was in this area that was mixing in with these Indians because they only had jurisdiction in the North. The rest of the areas were either Spanish or French territory before they broke away, or the British, by the way, that came in after the fact. So they didn't have them territories in their possession at that time. So anybody that's not living by their means and their situation is being labeled a fugitive or outlaw, outlier, because you're outside their jurisdiction, you know what I mean? And you're also labeled in this history book called Maroons. It became something we always traditionally know. John Brown knew. That was 100 years before the Mayflower touched ground. These communities were already running around biracial and triracial isolates. That white part came way later. That's 1800s when this man came in. Feel me? When the white part started mixing in with it a little bit. Feel me? So before that time, you already got that James Hugo Johnston, who did a dissertation on in Jack Forbes' African and Native, book that we've talked about before. You know what I'm saying? In that chapter, when they talk about the mulatto, would be the particular chapter, and James Hugo Johnston is letting you know that it's a blackamoor and an Indian that became this first mullah, Mustang term for a mixed race person. Hybrid terminology they were using. You dig? So at the end of the day, I'm just pointing that out because that's what they documented. Go check James Hugo Johnston. I ain't gonna go through them right now. That's why we're trying to move fast. Just pull up the next joint though. Let's get to these French. Cause you heard me read about the French, with the James, I'm about to say James Brown. Watch me. But I meant to say John Brown. And John, Bobby, Chris. Brown's is bad boy now. Be bad news to people. They don't really, you know what I mean? That's what they used to say, bad news Brown. All them good terms. Jim Brown. Oh yeah, be bad. I'm talking about Brown now. Don't sleep on the Brown. You always know when they be actors too. Everybody else be changing the name, but when you're Brown, you come out with the last name too. You have to let them know. But it's like yeah. But bitch is Brown, bitch. Anyway. So these Maroon Indians, also called Black Indians. I like Maroon Indians better. But at the same time, in today's time, American Maroon is, a very easier way for me to break down this, go into my genealogy and also what I stand for us to be self-governing in our own systems, like how our ancestors were. That's just my opinion on how our people needing to move in our communities because you sure ain't getting the help you really feel from anything outside. So you might as well do what's best for you and clean up your shit and do what you got to do type shit, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, this link right here got a nice little joint dealing with some pictures and stuff where they were describing how a Maroon Indian look. You know what I'm saying? This is the larger part of the native population had disappeared. This is Europeans have mixed with the Indians and the Negroes have mixed with the Indians. We were all born of one mother, America. Can you scroll up? I'm on the second paragraph, by the way. I went straight to the second paragraph. Right there. I'm going to read it again. The larger part of the native population has disappeared, it says. We don't agree with that. Europeans have mixed with Indians. So how can you disappear if they mix in with us? And the Negroes have mixed with the Indians. So that's misstagnation. We were just talking about that right there. That's the ethnogenesis conversation, see? Feel me? That's the ethnogenesis conversation we've been having right now. Then with the Maroon Mayhem conversation tonight. And it says, we were all born of one mother. That's your matriarch side, basically, because it's the Indian woman that these European Negroes are mixing in with. Okay? And it's going to say, born, though the father had different origins, meaning he's the foreigner. And we all have differently colored skins. The similarity is of the greatest significance. So 1920s estimate that the third of the African American have Indian blood requires new research. Today, can you scroll up for me? Just almost. Appreciate you. Did I lose my spot? In the 1920s estimate, a third of the African Americans, they call African American, I like to say Afrenchi American, which is the freedman American, based off of a law that was passed in 1865. But either way, the Maroon communities that we're talking about today, just every African American family tree has Indian branch. The number of the Afro-Americans with an Indian ancestor was once estimated at about 1/3 of the total. In Latin America, the percentage is much higher, they say. This means that an important page in history has been missing. Damn right, it's a missing link. That's why we have this Maroon conversation. I'm an American Maroon. I can tell you these things. That's why I like to self-identify with this shit anyway. You know, at the end of the day, that's why it's mayhem. And this is why we're having the ethnogenesis conversation on part 11 about the Maroon Mayhem and what took place in May and all the things going on with Memorial and who they really were singing after, right? A man called John Brown's Body, right? That's the song Memorial Day weekend they were singing, right? And then at the end of the day, what was John Brown's theory? A Maroon theory. So what you gonna say about it? It's what it is. He was living amongst indigenous folk. They say they calling them black and Negroes and Africans, but he's saying the 10 little Indians. You know what I'm saying? So however the case might be, he said the percentages are higher in South America. It's even higher of more indigenous blood than, come on now. This right here. Getting kind of close though. We're down by 7. All right, now you see this right here, God. They're hanging in there. We got to make a run. Oh, he gonna bust his head open. Okay. So yeah, man, that right there, you know, the vibe tonight was really just that. You know, I wanted to make sure people, you know, got that little bit of mayhem dealing with Memorial Day, all touchdown. So I had to put it down that way. It just happened to fall on the day. It's this Sunday. Thank you for tapping in with us, right? But we're gonna slide out of here on one. I'm gonna go back to this American thing real quick, right? I got a quick little video before we have Blaze play a couple songs. We get out of here. So I'm gonna slide this video over, and this is for them Celtics. There's the Amoricons, closet Amoricons and shit that don't want to come out the closet. It's Boston, interesting too, right? Where Mayflower and all that area right there, the people that say they came in, right? They were coming from America. You know what I'm saying? They brought their traditions and everything with them, you dig? But either way, hold on, I'm finding it. Give me 1 second, y'all. We're going to play this joint. And whoever you're rooting for, because the Celtics, they definitely been doing the game. They deserve to be there because they had a great season. The Heat did too. That's why it's 1-2. So, but then they got to go see the Warriors, and I don't know. That's what the Celtics against the Warriors. Who you going for? I know. You said the Celtics. See, you are a Moricon. You a crypto Moricon tonight because you're going for the goddamn Celtics, and you supposed to be a Haitian. It don't make no sense. See, he doing the same thing right now. You see what I'm saying? I'm just. Come on now, though.
It ain't gonna happen.
Man, you tripping. Here you go. Take this. Take that. Take this. Take that. We're gonna get out of here after we're gonna play this joint. We're gonna play this joint, man, and Memorial Day weekend. I'll be marooned on a Monday tomorrow, somewhere on Clubhouse during the daytime sometime, because it is a holiday for those that might not know. Most things I would be doing is gonna be closed. So I'm gonna take advantage of it too. You know what I mean? Do what you do. If you barbecue, you know what I'm saying, you got some good food, you in my area, holler at me. But no pork on the grill now. Don't put the pork on the grill. I ain't eating. I'm playing. You eat what you eat. Just don't try to feed me. Let me know. Is that chicken? But I hope everybody is enjoying the Memorial Day weekend and you're vibing. And you're safe wherever you at. And we've had another situation take place, with that other school situation with them 19 kids. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. We just had a thing in Buffalo. We were just talking about that the other week. Now we have this. We got more children losing their lives. You know what I mean? Which also is kind of crazy because it strikes in vain in everybody's heart when that kind of thing happens. And at the same time, that's mayhem. You know what I mean? When you think about it, something like that happened in your community, you're like, this is mayhem, right? So, we got to bring some peace to this. That's why, we don't say it in the wrong way. Hopefully that you understand what we mean by the theme of this last 4 weeks of this month. 5 weeks we've had. Check this out, though.
Of Lincoln between me, and I've taken the Kingdom of Brittany, as you can see here, and Mordreth, who's taken the Byzantine Empire. Now, I want to start this cast by talking a little bit in depth about the Byzantine Empire. They are, for those of you who are interested, one of the most powerful factions in the Age of Vikings mod, for sure. I would even hazard a guess that they are the most powerful faction, but I don't know enough. I haven't played enough of the mod to say that for sure. What I can say is that they have an incredibly fearsome roster, and I'll tell you why. So, one of the biggest strong points of the Byzantine Empire is their access to huge amounts of really strong cavalry. They also even have the Cataphractoi horse archers over here, as you can see, who have great armor, and they don't have Parthian shot, which goes against them, but they do have fire whilst moving. So they can be quite a nuisance, quite a heavily armored nuisance against enemy cavalry, if you can just put them behind your strong melee cavalry options, which unfortunately haven't been brought here by Mordreth. They do have, Byzantine Empire has access to Tagmata cavalry. They've got access to powerful shock cavalry as well. And I'm with the Kingdom of Brittany. You know what? Let me put this a little bit in slow motion first before going more in depth about the Byzantine Empire. So they have access to shock cavalry, 30 bonus versus large melee cavalry. So there's a lot of things that's going on for them in the cavalry front. But that's not all. They even have access to excellent spearmen. The Scutatoi spearmen are really, really strong. And a general trait about this faction is that they have access to units that have incredibly high missile block chance, which is not something that you see very often in the Age of Vikings mod. As you can see, two of the other Cataphractoi horse archers fighting against my skirmisher cavalry, who's pushing them back. The Scutatoi spearmen, as you can see here, who are kept in the forest to present a sneaky ambush to my troops, are very, very powerful because they have a 60 bonus versus 60 missile block chance, decent charge bonus. Their melee attack isn't the highest if you compare them against my Armorican spearmen, which are the same cost as the Scutatoi spearmen, but have slightly higher melee attack. The Scutatoi spearmen lack a little bit on that front, but they make up for it with their higher armor, much higher armor, I believe, and high missile block chance. 46 armor versus, let's see here, versus
I just wanted to give y'all that. That was interesting because of the fact what the title was. And again, you know, I started with America, and I had to give you, when I found that YouTube clip that this dude playing a game, playing out the era of Charlemagne and, you know, Attila the war, and dealing with the, he says, America, fuck yeah. He was all excited about that shit. You see what I'm saying? And that's that region over there that we talked about earlier, of France. Today, France, Brittany, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Spain, Portugal, you know, all these areas, the kingdoms of America. You know what I mean? Type in that word when you get a chance. Check it out. Armorica. You know what I mean? And them dark-skinned Aboriginal folk that was in that region, and they took on nobility positions after a certain time with the Romans or different groups that they were in contact with and the systems they had to go through over time. This is, again, America is prominent between the 5th and the 8th century. You know what I'm saying? So you got a timeline. It's about 300 years where this word is prevalent before it started breaking up to these province terms we call today. France, Scotland, Wales. That's the Welsh. You know what I'm saying? Ireland, Scotland, exactly. All of Brittany, London, Europe. Europeans. So the Aboriginal Europeans would have called it America, huh? Ain't that something? At a certain time frame? It's interesting. All that they got tribes and everything involved. Or Armorial. Right, that's the Romans say America, but Armorial. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting that, you know, that's out there like that. Put that out there. Check it out for yourself. We're going to get out of here. Tap in with us next week for Aboriginal Wall Street. You already know what it is. We're on the street with it. We're going to be productive with it when our guests is coming and tap in with us. Tap in us during the week. Clubhouse and, you know, our different platforms. Subscribe. Like the channel. Appreciate all the love, by the way, for all the people that's in the chat on this Memorial Day weekend with us tonight. You know what I mean? Shout out to you. Shout out to the Social Club. Shout out to all the institutions that's tapped in with us and doing their thing. It's Maroon. Mayhem. You heard me? Ethnogenesis of the Aboriginal American. Part 11. We got 2 more to go. I said I'm going to stop at 11, but we got 2 more to go. We're going to be spread out because we got some more stuff coming. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lee Cummings because we got some more stuff coming. Summertime. We just warming up. Like the heat. Got a chance to warm up and hopefully pull this through. I don't know. I'm starting shit. It's cold. Woo! Tap in with us. Blaze. We're in a campaign to get our best song.
Yeah, you listening to Super Plays. Let's go.
I don't know, man. It ain't looking good for the heat right now.
This is headliner from Arrested Development, and right now you're in the midst of a celebration.
Pull a trick out of bag right quick. Something.
Check it out. Let me hear you say, whoa, whoa.
Let's go.
Yeah, whoa, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah. Everyday people. See, I am everyday people. See, I was resting at the park, minding my own business as I kick up the trouble zone. Take play up, right? Loud enough so you can hear us. I see. I know where I'm taking. Investigation, maybe she was demonstrating, but nevertheless I was pleased. My day was going great, and my soul was at ease until a group of brothers started bugging out, drinking the 40 ounce, going disrespecting my black queen, holding their crotches and being obscene. At first I ignored it, cause see I know the type. They got drunk, they got guns, and yes they wanna fight. And they see a young couple having a time that's good, and the egos wanna test the brother's manhood. So they came to test speech cause of my heritage and the loud bright colors that I wear. I was a target cause I'm a fashion misfit, and the outfit that I'm wearing brothers dissing it. Well I stay calm, leave me be. But they squeeze a parts of my date's anatomy. Why Lord, you brothers have to drill me? Cause if I stop
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, you listening to
Tennessee.
Super Play. Let's go.
Tennessee.
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 Lord, I've really been real stressed, down and out, losing ground. Although I am black and brown, problems got me pessimistic. Brothers and sisters keep messing up. Why does it have to be so damn tough? I don't know where I can go to let these ghosts out of my skull. My grandma passed, my brother's gone. I never at once felt so alone. I know you're supposed to be my steering wheel, not just my spare tire. But Lord, I ask you to be my guiding force and truth. For some strange reason it had to be. He guided me to Tennessee. Take me to another place. Take me to another land. Make me forget all that hurts me. Let me understand your plan. Take me to another place. Take me to another land. Make me forget all that hurts me. Let me understand your plan. Lord, it's obvious we got a relationship, talking to each other every night and day. Although you're superior over me, we talk to each other in a friendship way. Then out of nowhere, you tell me to break out of the country and into more countries, past Iceberg, into rivers where the ghost of childhood haunts me. Walk the road my forefathers walked, climb the tree my forefathers come from. Ask those trees for all their wisdom. They tell me my ears are so young. Go back to whence you came, my family tree, my family name. For some strange reason it had to be. He guided me to Tennessee. Take me to another place. Take me to another land. Make me forget all that hurts me. Let me understand your plan. Take me to another place. Take me to another land. Make me forget all that hurts me. Let me understand your plan.
Yeah, you listening to Super Play. Let's go.
Go ahead, man. Here, have $1. In fact, no, brother, man. Here, have $2. $2 means a snack for me, but it means a big deal to you. Be strong, serve God only. Know that if you do, beautiful heaven awaits. That's the poem I wrote for the first time. I saw a man with no clothes, no money, no plate, Mr. Winter. That's his name. No one ever knew his name, cause he's an old one. Never thought twice about spending on an old bum until I had the chance to really get to know one. Now that I know him, to give him money isn't charity. He gives me some knowledge, I'm buying some shoes. And to think blacks spend all their money on big colleges, still most of y'all come out confused. Go ahead, Mr. Winter. Go ahead, Mr. Winter. Mr. Wendell has freedom, a free that you and I think is dumb. Free to be without the worries of a quick-to-diss society, for Mr. Wendell's a bum. His only worries are sickness and an occasional harassment by the police in their chase. Uncivilized, we call him, but I just saw him eat off the food we waste. Civilization, are we really civilized? Yes or no? Who are we to judge? When thousands of innocent men could be brutally enslaved or killed over a racist grudge. Mr. Wendell has tried to warn us about our ways, but we don't hear him talk. Is it his fault when we've gone too far and we got too far? Cause of him we walk. Mr. Wendell, a man, a human in flesh, but not by law. I feed you dignity to stand with pride. Realize that all in all, you stand tall. Go ahead, Mr. Wendell. Mr. Wendell.
Yeah, you listening to Super Play. Let's go.
Yeah, Mr. Wendell. Mr. Wendell, yeah. Oh.
Still unamalgamated.
Heartbeat, the sound of the bass drum. Come with your best shot, I'll take one. Rumble in the jungle, I'm a lion. Stand up for your Messy nation. Hey, for these generations, we the people lost but not forgotten. Tribal rivalry is the problem. One love, the key for what we locked in. Don't call me a doctor, but I will be your medicine man. We're all from the melting pot, so everybody in the crowd is a Native American. Like me, what can't you see? The enemy is a L-I-E. One family tree we are. The truth is like smoking Joe, and so far, the bigger they come, the harder they fall. Bring on the giant, I'm ready to brawl. No giving up, flowing in my veins. Like a champion, I feel that I will never surrender. Born with the soul of a warrior, I will remain a contender. Born with the soul of a warrior, I will. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey, 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 hey y'all. I rule my Dominion. I'm part Asian, Indian, Dominican. Back to Hindu, Dravidian, so Mexicano loco, man. Yes. Egyptian fits my description. Yes. I'm training hard for the mission. Yes. I'm a country boy from the south, and mama said knock you out. I'm in the ring like the bigger they come, the harder they fall. Bring on the giant, I'm ready to brawl. No giving up, flowing in my veins. Like a champion, I feel that I will never surrender. One with the soul of a warrior, I will remain a contender. One with the soul of a warrior, I will. If you're down for one love and one people, let me hear you say, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey, 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 hey. One finger in the air, hey y'all, hey y'all. Somebody wanna yama see me break it down, down. Watch me break it down, down. Watch me break it down. Somebody know that yama see we break them down, down. Yeah, we break them down, down. Yeah, we break them down. The bigger they come, the harder they fall. Bring on the giant, I'm ready to brawl. No giving up, flowing in my veins. Like a champion, I feel that I will never surrender. Born with the soul of a warrior, I will remain a contender. Born with the soul of a warrior, I will. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Stand strong.
You know what it is, man. Same time, same place next week. Like, subscribe, share. Get Autonomous Party through the campaign, BSB. We out of here.